little nervous. You're on blue. Who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you. Tell me who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you. You found out that nobody is perfect, and you doubt that anything is worth it. Look around, the world is a circus. You're on blue. So provoking, I forgot to mention. Are you joking? I need some attention. And nothing's working to change your direction. You're on blue. Who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you. Tell me who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you. Why won't you hold my hand? Are you gonna deny this? Do the best you can. I haven't got a plan, but I'm gonna survive this. That's just who I am. When you're on blue, you keep everything inside of you. You try to play it cool. Sometimes you gotta break the rules. I don't know why you are confused. All you need is a little bit of attitude. Yeah. This is it. I'm tired of explaining. It's too late because everyone is waiting. That's great. So why are you complaining? You're on blue. If I'm unsure, will anybody notice? It's my fault because I love you on purpose. I'm insecure or just a little nervous. You're on blue. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Starting to enjoy the view. I'm all about the attitude. Who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you. Tell me who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you. Freedom. Yourself, I'll help you clean up the mess. never did like I did. Let's go. What is up, people? Just wanna see me. Let's go. I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Let's go. Yo, yo. Dude, how we doing, people? Friday night? Light another cigarette, make up for it well. I am one of those you'll never trust, so drink me. Feel like an angel. Feeling like early, I know, it is nice being early, isn't it? Like an angel. I might be tempted. Dude, how we doing? I'm still looking for something pure and sweet. I found it. Yeah, I'm a stranger when I'm always well. Don't you ever notice I run in place and you stand still? Complication. Hello, hello. Always get me into these situations again. 'Cause I might be tempted. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with everything. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with everything but me. Let's go. Do I have a PS5? I do not. I don't really keep up on the PS stuff. I have a PS4. Let's go. Dude, I have a PS4. Because I had a kid, right? So we had a PS thing when I had a kid. Dude, 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗪, let's go. Appreciate you, boss. And that's for 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗪. And then we got Laser here. What's up, man? My friend in Portland says there's curfews coming. Also, can you watch my cat for a couple days? I have an inspection coming up. Thanks, man. Got you. I have not heard anything about curfews. I have not heard anything about that at all. Right? I don't see why there would be curfews. You know, I mean, they may put something on like not wanting people outside the ice,
location, right? But there is but yeah, I don't know what your friend is talking about. Okay, right? There is there's no indication of curfews, right? Yeah, I don't know what people are talking about. Dude, people are getting weird. Maybe they're seeing shit on the internet. There is absolutely nothing going on with Portland. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even the protests at the ICE facility is not a huge deal. Minneapolis is definitely crazy right now. I mean, dude, Minneapolis, well, because so obviously Minneapolis, they're protesting as they should because of the cold-blooded murder of Renee Nicole Good. And they're having a protest at the hotel, which I think is awesome. So they found the hotel that all these ICE agents are staying at, and they've had crowds of people, just throngs of people that are outside the hotel, just making noise. Last time I checked on it, they had a drum kit there. Somebody brought a drum kit down and are like, dude, they're playing drums like out in front of the hotel, just making it so these guys can't sleep, which I think is brilliant. Because at this point, guys, after today, okay, after today, all I can say is this, is fuck ICE and the Trump admin. And what's more, the people that are like gaslighting this shit, okay? I mean, we've seen this today, that they're gaslighting this stuff, guys. They're right. We're going to look at the video. Okay. We are going to look at the video. Dude, the video was like heartbreaking. Okay. It really was, dude. The video was heartbreaking. Like seeing Renee be so disarming, and the way she says to that guy, like, I'm not mad at you, right? She's literally just out there being a citizen observer. And it was pretty clear. Like, we're going to go over this video and let me just show you this video. When we watch the video, I'm going to show you what would happen with this video if you were in a court of law. You're going to see how obvious it was, right? It does look like they edited some stuff out around like the shooting thing. And it does seem like they edited it out. You don't see anything, Shannon. You really don't, right? It's like during the event, you don't really see anything, but it does seem like they edited shit out. And I'm imagining, guys, my guess is they edited it out because of what he was saying. I think he might have been saying something in that edited space, right? Any news on those people? No, I haven't really heard any news yet about the people in Portland. I haven't looked at it, but so we'll get into that in a minute. Yeah, it's pretty heartbreaking. The first thing I want to look at, right, is this, dude. Is like, how fucking dumb is Donald Trump? Dude, did you see this clip with Marco Rubio? Yeah, so you know what's interesting is if you, I mean, we'll look at the video. Her girlfriend, her wife, like tried to get in the car, but the door was locked. And it's so crazy to think that if the door hadn't been locked, there's a good chance the wife would be dead too, okay? Because the wife tried to get into the door, tried to get into the car, but she couldn't because the door was locked, the passenger side door. And if that door had been open and she had climbed in there, she would in all likelihood be dead too. That's crazy. Crazy to think that a locked door is the only reason she's still alive to raise their kids. Like, it's pretty startling. But one of the things, guys, that really hit me today is the realization that, like, that a lot of these MAGA people are like, they're like beyond damaged. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, we keep saying about like, oh, don't judge, don't call somebody a fascist, don't call them this, reach across the aisle. But there's a lot of these MAGA people that simply, they don't have any, like, they don't have any feelings for anyone but their own. That's it. If you are not MAGA, they are like, they don't really care if you suffer a horrible, painful death, like right in front of them. Now, I mean, they would argue, oh, people said shit about Charlie Kirk and this and that. But like, I saw a lot of people on the left be affected by Charlie Kirk's death, right? And also, though, Charlie Kirk was not executed by the government, right? He was a very inflammatory public figure that had a lot of enemies and a lot of, stirred a lot of negative energy. So when something outrageous happens to public figures that are very extreme and very, inflammatory, it's tragic, but it's not entirely surprising. It is, but it's still tragic, right? I mean, in this instance, this was just a mom out there like watching ICE to take care of her neighborhood and doing it because she just didn't want, like people with brown skin to cause undue harm. And she was murdered needlessly and venomously by an agent of the government, and they like, it's like they think it's funny. They think it's like leftists getting what they deserve, which is like really crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty wild. Like they are, it's pretty clear that death, torture, murder, and hideousness is like, they don't care. They will cheer, right? They will cheer our death and actively seek it, and it's wild because they say that like we're trying to kill them, but like I don't see that. I don't really see the left like, we really do have a problem with all violence, It's pretty wild. But anyway, dude, the masks are off. Yeah, it's very affecting. And I know like some of it is like Twitter overboard shit. You know what I'm saying? Some of it is just like Twitter trolls, but a lot of it is really a callousness where, I guess they have some stored up animosity about, I don't know, a laundry list of things. And it really comes down to this one concept, guys, because one of the things that we keep seeing from MAGA is they say, I voted for this, right? I voted for this is their thing, right? I voted for this. I voted for this. But you know what the irony is, guys? The irony is that Minnesota didn't vote for that, okay? Minnesota voted against the Trump agenda. So did Oregon. So did California. So did Illinois. So did New York. Right? Chicago, New York City, Portland, Los Angeles, they all voted against the Trump agenda. Okay? All of them did. And so it's very telling that Donald Trump has chosen to exercise the things that people voted for only in the spaces where everybody voted not for that. Right? Because, again, it's not about them doing the things they're voting for. It's about them doing the things to us. Okay? Their entire agenda is to do things to us. It's not to do things for them. They want to do things to us. And it's weird because when we do things for them, like wear a mask or have a mask mandate so they won't get sick, so their grandparents won't die, they think we're doing things to them, right? You know what I mean? If there's a gay kiss in Netflix, they think it's being done to them, right? And then they want to respond by doing hurtful things to us. When, like, no, the gay kiss is just a gay kiss. It's just some representation for gay people. It's like really weird. They have this whole fixation where everything that happens they believe is being done to them. Everything they don't like. And then their response to that is to try to do anything mean or nasty to us to like return that favor. And it really, you know what's funny about it? Is it really reminds me of what we talked about yesterday when I said, you know, don't take things personal. Whereas I think they live in a world where everything is personal, right? Yeah. Jeff, right? They can't draw a boundary between their feelings and the real world. So their feelings become the factual basis of the world. It is like a form of narcissism. And I think it becomes a group narcissism when, you know, like the kind of shit that happens where, you know, that Christian persecution complex or those white nationalists who feel persecuted. Like when you group up with that type of shared resentment, you create this group narcissism where like you just can't see beyond the boundaries of your group. And everything that exists outside it is a patented threat to your existence. It's like wild. Like a team of psychiatrists should study these people. Dimmy says, as a trans woman of color who lives in Texas, this tragedy has amplified hate towards minorities where I live. People are emboldened to talk even more crap in public. Scary times for everyone. Dimmy, I'm so sorry you're going through that. And I can actually absolutely, you know what I'm saying? See how that would be like true, right? That it emboldens them. Okay? 100%. Tuesday Night Fever says, I kissed a girl. All right, let's go. Hey, man, I've kissed a girl or two myself, too. Tuesday night, doubled it. Let's go. Thank you, Tuesday night. All right, dude, somebody is calling for, I think I saw somebody call for a dance party goal. We can get that going. Yeah, I can only imagine, like, my God, what people of color, trans women of color, like, you know, I just can't even imagine. You know, I can't even imagine what it feels like being in a red state. Being in a red state, especially Texas, where they are like actively trying to pass laws that criminalize trans existence. Not even laws to, you know, limit their rights, but laws that criminalize trans existence. Like that's what they want. They want to make it so the very act of being transgender means you are a criminal. Okay? It is outrageous. Super touchy-feely crew they are. Yeah, good vibe. They are like something else. But so, all right, we're going to get into this in a minute, right? Get into it. Give us a little 5-minute spell here to sort of warm up. One of the first things I think we should look at, because it's so funny and so ridiculous, is this. Like, oh my God, where is it? Okay, I thought I had saved it. But dude, you ready? Stop stupidity. Let's go, boss. Let's go. Look at this, guys. This is insane. Okay? This is insane because see, I did bookmark it. What the fuck, bro? Wait a sec. I fucking bookmarked it. I'm not crazy. The fuck is going on, bro? Oh, it's right there. All right, dude. I don't know what I'm doing, bro. But so let's talk about this for a minute. Okay? Because number one, all right, let's just watch the clip and then we'll talk about it. But I think this clip, which seems fairly innocuous on the surface level. Laser, let's go. Thank you, boss. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and report that person. Right, and we're gonna go ahead and hide them. Yeah, that's okay, guys. Don't get too like worked up when you see those trolls, because we're gonna report them, get their accounts taken away, and just hide them from the channel. But like, let it sort of roll off you. And if you can, you know what I'm saying? Because there are people that have a specific type of like powerlessness and self-hatred that are going to try to capitalize on this moment, and they're trying to like dump that shit. Remember what the Vipassana instructor said? Don't take the gift. They're coming with presents with bows wrapped around them. You know what I'm saying? Like they are bringing it, right? They are, but I'm gonna be pretty chill, and we're just gonna move those guys along and just report and remove, right? But so, dude, so it's like it's gonna be a journey, yeah. And don't worry, we'll get rid of all of them. James, let's go. Thank you, boss. But so anyway. Let's just watch this clip, and then we're gonna talk about this, because I feel like this clip is just slightly innocuous and it almost seems funny, but it is like illustrating multiple levels of what we're dealing with here with the Trump administration, with Marco Rubio, and especially with what's going on in Venezuela, okay? Right? And yeah, so let's watch this clip here.
All right, thank you. You'll make it back one way or the other. You're all going to do very well. I think really very well. Marco just gave me a note. Go back to Chevron. They want to discuss something. Go ahead. I'm going back to Chevron, Marco. Thank you, Marco.
Was there a question, Mr. President?
Yes, go ahead, Marco. What are you saying here?
Mark,
Big
if you can
increase.
update us on operations in the ground and with the appropriate approvals, what you might be able to achieve in the next 12 to 18 months, give us a little view from the ground.
You bet, you bet. So today, Chevron has 3,000 employees in 4 different joint ventures in Venezuela today. And over the past 5 to 7 years, they've taken production from about 40,000 barrels a day to 240.
Dude, so they're having this press conference about like the wake of Venezuela and all this oil. And of course, they're doing their best, okay, to make it seem like this is about drugs or freedom or democracy or what have you. And in the middle of this, first let's address the note. Marco writes a note, go back to Chevron, right?
They want to discuss something. Go ahead.
Go back to Chevron. They want to discuss something. He's like trying to guide the meeting, right? He's trying to guide the meeting, you know? And because there's an agenda that is sort of like being passed here, and Trump is so unaware, is so out of like reality, that when his partner over here hands him this note, he doesn't think to just like, oh, Marco's handing me this note. He just grabs it and is like, oh, Marco's handing me this note. Let me read this note and then like basically show that they're trying to manipulate the tenor of this press conference and that, you know, Chevron has an agenda and Trump should like guide it back to Chevron's agenda because Chevron is really running the show here. Okay. And he just like reads it out in the open, like completely unaware of what's going on. And then after he reads it, he doesn't even understand the point of the note. Like it's almost like he's not even aware of what's going on in the room around him. Okay. Dude. Right. And then like Marco's face here, then this guy jumps in and decides to like, oh, let me direct Trump. Let me, you know, put him back on task. And like, look at Marco's face, dude. Look at him. Dude, look at his face. He's like, oh shit, bro. Oh, he grabs his note. Dude, like, what are they doing, bro? It is like the aisle of fucking misfit toys, bro. The aisle of misfit politicians. Dude. You know, like, it's almost like you could write Trump a note that says, please read me your credit card number and expiration date. And he would like just grab his card and fucking start reading you the numbers. I mean, he has zero awareness. Where's the clip of him getting up and looking out the window? Let's see that. Let's see that clip. But this is wild. Dude, it is wild. Dude, the memes, the Marco memes, same behavior they kept bashing Biden for. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's pretty crazy. All right, here's the window clip. Let's go. I mean, we know, though, that there's no sense of consistency here. Okay, there's no consistency here.
Well, I got to look at this myself. Wow. What a view. This is the door to the bar. Wow.
Dude, what
I got to look at this myself.
What the fuck, bro? He just goes out to the door to the ballroom, but there's no ballroom. They're so like awkward. Look at how uncomfortable they are. Look at this guy's face, dude. This guy is like, Susie Wiles is looking down at her phone. She's probably playing solitaire on her phone, bro. She's just counting the days. What the fuck are they doing, boss? Right? But here's where we're at. Okay, guys? Here's where we're at. There's tables of oil executives that are meeting with the president, trying to figure out how they're going to carve up this foreign country that they have now deposed the leader and jailed him. And now it's interesting. It's interesting because they're going to try and charge Maduro here in the United States. But you know what's really interesting is I've heard grumblings that Maduro might mount a defense of presidential immunity and saying like, you know, here's the deal. I know you guys are saying I committed crimes, but everything I've done has been in the act of, you know, being president. And you yourselves, your legal system says the president has immunity on the job. So I think Maduro is going to use Donald Trump's presidential immunity ruling in his own case, okay? I mean, it's pretty wild. And there's really not anything they can do to stop it because they made that ruling. It's not like they can decide, oh, presidential immunity doesn't apply for this president because he's from a different country. I mean, they have to either sacrifice it for Trump or they're going to have to let him like exist under it as well, right? It's pretty wild. Dude, stop stupidity. Let's go. I mean, we are living in an Onion fucking article right now. Wow, Trump. Dude, wow, Trump 2026. Let's go, dude. Thank you, Dimmy. Doesn't it feel like we are literally living in an Onion article that has come to life? It's pretty crazy. But this, guys, I feel like this right here is really indicative of where America is with Trump, where the oil execs are just, they want to carve this country up, and it's all going to be profits. It's not going to lower our prices, but a few cents. Our prices are going to keep going up. The price of everything's going to keep going up. All these guys have stocks and all kinds of, the investment packages that are going to benefit from this, and none of us are going to benefit at all. We're going to end up homeless and beat and with 3 jobs, struggling to survive. I mean, it's pretty depressing, but we are living in a corporate oligarchy, like bigly, You know what I mean? It's pretty brutal. And all of these guys got notified of the military operations. And in fact, I saw there was somebody on Fox News today. You ready? Did you see this? Where, how Trump is like whatever, taking 10% of something, but there's this fucking thing. Where is it? Where's the clip? Dude, why am I not finding it? Maybe it was, maybe it didn't have his name. Dude, the fuck, bro? It was literally a clip from today, boss. Is either Rupa or Asen. Give me 1 sec. We'll cue it up. I think it may have been Asen. But it was one of his advisors, okay, was on Fox News, and they were talking about the oil. And they were asking, oh, is Trump going to take 10% of the oil like he did with the U.S. Steel and Intel? And the guy's like, actually, that's a possibility, right? And it was like, oh, nice. There's nothing like just open fucking corruption, just right out in the fucking open. Let's look at an Asen. Had to be an Asen clip. We got Maduro, but didn't we leave all Maduro's cabinet regime in place? Yes, the entire Maduro regime is still there. It's still straight up operating. This one, it was from earlier today, like a Fox Business or whatever. So it was before all this, even before that. I think it was this morning. Dude, we got to look at that too. Hold on, I got to save that because that's particularly alarming. It's Mamdani talking about healthcare, right? Talking about childcare. Dude, stop stupidity. Let's go. Fuck, bro. Dude, now I don't know where it is. All right. Well, maybe I'll stumble upon it. Dude, that's disappointing. It was a pretty good clip. I mean, obviously what it was is it was suggesting that he was going to, try to take a percentage of this new oil, right? Of whatever oil deal comes out of Venezuela. Okay? Meanwhile, all of our shit is going up. Bro, it's a little depressing, guys. All right? It is a little depressing. Yeah. Fuck, bro. All right. All right. Onward we go. But yeah, dude, it is a little fucking depressing. Cause we're in it, guys. We are in it. Like this administration is incredibly corrupt, openly corrupt. Okay? It is openly corrupt and Insurrection Act is trending. Let's see what we got here, dude. See, look at this. Okay? They have 2,000 Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis, and they're adding another 1,000. Okay? Right? That another 1,000 people. They are stacking it up. Is this it? Let me see. Yes, this is it. Here it is. Thank you, Natalie. This is the clip right here.
Going again.
So, Mr. Secretary, you said this is President Trump doing business. I've got to ask you, does the president intend to take a stake in the Venezuelan oil company that the American companies stand up, much like he took a 10% stake in an intelligence company in the U.S.?
So no dialogue about that yet. But again, we want capitalism to work. But if there's support they need from the government, could something like that happen? That's certainly a possibility. But really, it's using U.S. power to force a regime that's caused so much misery in America and in Venezuela, using U.S. leverage to get them to change their behavior and ultimately drive to a representative government in Venezuela again, so it can be a wealthy, capitalist U.S. ally as it was for decades.
Mr. Secretary,
out of the box thinking of President Trump to get us here.
That it's
see, that's, dude. It's not going to be wealthy. The Americans are going to get wealthy off of Venezuela, but bro, it's so gross, dude. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, what's really interesting about this is, in particular, how there's a lot of talk about socialism in South America, but dude, there's a very good chance that there would be profoundly amazing socialist societies in Latin and South America and Central America if we didn't spend all our time deposing governments. I mean, I'm not saying Maduro is the right one, but certainly they have had some, Cuba in particular had some very successful socialist programs, but the United States is just like capitalism feeds the United States and feeds the wealthiest people in the United States. And so the United States will not let socialism be successful, right? Which is why, you know, Mamdani and Hochul and some of these new progressives and some of the things that are going to come along in the future are going to be very threatening to these people, you know, because, I mean, we have European examples of like socialism infused capitalism that is incredibly successful and very high standards of living, very high quality of life. Because that's just it, guys. America, we have a ton of wealth, but we don't really have a high standard of living here for most Americans. I put a feel-good vid by Really American to help with the dark stuff in the Discord, LFG. All right, we'll see. We'll see if we scope into that, right? But yeah, man, this is pretty fucking sad. But thank you, Ella. Let's go. We sabotage everything, dude. Stop stupidity. Let's go. All right, guys. We need 9 more for, we got 7 minutes. We need 9 more to secure the dance party. But, man, it's crazy. I mean, and what's wild, too, is, like, the denial of the climate change fused with the obsession with expanding oil and coal and every other extraction industry from the planet is really alarming, man. It's like, you know, they're gonna deny the real world effects of the work they're doing, and then they're just gonna extract. You know what I'm saying, dude? Brecos, let's go. Good. Cuba's citizens have an average longer lifespan. That doesn't surprise me. There's certainly longer lifespans in Europe, too. I mean, simply having preventative health care increases your lifespan. And, you know, a part of the American damage, too, is our food supply. I mean, our food supply is designed under capitalism, right? Like, our food supply is infused with chemicals that make you consume the most of it possible, right? Everything nurtures that addiction, right? LFG dance party, let's go, Ella! Dude, 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗹𝗀, what a bummer fucking week. I know, dude. This is crazy. This is nuts. But they are piling in, guys. They are piling on Minneapolis, okay? They're just piling on. Now, I keep seeing people saying they're going to continue terrorizing until they can fucking, you know, invoke the Insurrection Act. But here's the thing, guys. Okay, you ready for this? I need you to hear me on this, okay? Because we gotta stay focused, okay, on the elections. Flush the orange turd. Let's go. Thank you, Jamuni. All right. And I want to talk about this. Get her done, Jessica. Let's go. Let's go, Jessica. We're getting her done. Stop stupidity. Let's go, baby. Dude, flush it. You may have to flush twice for this one, Jamuni. Just FYI. Dude, Allison, let's go. All right, we're down to under 5 minutes. And I think we got it here with Stop Stupidity. Did that finish it off? Got uno más. Let's go. One more, and there it is. Stop Stupidity, bringing it home, dude. Let's go. All right, so I want to talk about this tweet, guys, okay? Because I want to talk about this tweet, okay? Because I'm seeing a lot of this. I get people, they're in my replies every day. They're sending me this in messages. This person says, FYI, the current administration is going to continue to terrorize, kidnap, imprison, and kill U.S. citizens till there's enough resistance to justify invoking the Insurrection Act. Why? To have an excuse to postpone/cancel 2026 elections. But let's address this, guys, okay? Because, number one, the Insurrection Act cannot cancel our elections. There is nothing in our Constitution that can cancel an election. Okay? It doesn't cancel with the Civil War. It doesn't cancel if there's an insurrection. It doesn't cancel if we're in the middle of the fucking like statewide and countrywide riots. Okay? Elections are run by the states, and the federal government can do nothing to prevent them from happening. Okay? So it is impossible. Okay? So this is unrealistic. Even in war, we had elections in the middle of the Civil War, guys. Okay? The only thing they could do is red states could not participate, but that wouldn't change anything. They'd still have no legal recourse to overturn the results of the elections. So the elections cannot be postponed or canceled. It just can't happen. The only way that could happen would be if they called out an all-out war and they literally killed all of the leaders and all of the election workers and shit and like physically took control of the state governments in all of those states. And they don't have the manpower to do that. That would be like a Vladimir Putin in Ukraine type situation. Okay? They're like the US military right now is stretched very thin, guys. Very thin. Now, Donald Trump has not even been able to send the National Guard in. Okay? He was able to do it in D.C. because the executive branch of the government controls D.C., but he has lost and been thwarted with the National Guard in Chicago, in Portland, in California. He is like 0 for 3. Okay? He's lost all of those court cases. Okay? So now we're not going to be stupid about this and pretend that there's shit not going on. But what I want is I want people to stop like fear mongering, because if you ratchet up this type of fear, like, oh, they're just trying to get you to respond. This is almost encouraging, like, don't resist too much. But like, no, we have to continue resisting. If he invokes the Insurrection Act, it's not going anywhere. It's going to get struck down in court. Okay? He has already lost with this shit. Every court in America knows what he is doing. He has tried every way to invoke the Insurrection Act, to control National Guards, to skirt the Constitution, and he has lost and been booted and laughed at in every fucking court. So the more he tries this shit, the more feeble his stand in court is going to be. So what we need is more focus on the elections. Okay? You need to get into your local offices, whether it's DSA or local Democrat offices, and we need to make ourselves useful, or keep your community. Make sure everybody is registered to vote. Check your voter registration. Make sure we focus on these upcoming races. Okay, something historic is happening right now, guys. The Democrats have a candidate in every single race in America in November. That has never happened before in the history of voting in either party. Nobody has ever done that. But the Democrats are challenging the Republicans in every federal race and every state race in every district in America. I'm getting goosebumps just saying that. They are going all in, like believing they can win any district. Okay? This is a full-fledged assault from the Democratic Party right now. And we need to maintain focus. We need to help them. We need to put aside our qualms and our issues and our whatever, crying about how they're not doing enough. And we need to focus on taking back the House and winning these elections and stop doing this shit. Okay? This shit is like just a constant like wail of like apathy. Okay? You know what I'm saying? No more apathy. I don't want to see any more of this shit. Okay? And look at this. It's like everybody keeps saying it. Oh, he's going to do this. And they're building him up. Oh, he's like strategizing. Dude, I don't care what his plan is with the Insurrection Act and martial law. It's not going to work. Okay? He does not have the skills to pull off martial law in all of the states in America. We outnumber them. The military is stretched thin. They don't have it, guys. He is flailing, and he's going to threaten. And let me just tell you, the blue wave is inevitable. Thank you, boxing. I want to tell you something, guys, and listen very carefully, because I witnessed this as a kid. Sometimes you have kids that are very unruly. They're rebelling against the parents, and the threats get more and more severe. I'm going to do this. If I'm going to send you to military school, I'm going to X, Y, or Z. And then the parents never follow through, but they keep coming up with escalatingly, like, more scary threats to try and get you in line. And that's what they're doing. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to be smart about this. Okay, we're not going to simply pretend like nothing is happening, but we are going to increase the amount of resistance. We are going to push him to make a crazy move, right? Because if Trump makes too crazy of a move, it will then set off a series of events that will allow us to enlist the help of the international community and actually, like, remove him physically from office. Okay, if he does something really crazy, we have an excuse to depose the man. Okay, and so stop looking at it as he's threatening to control us, and start looking at it as if he gets too out of line, we're gonna just end this thing, and we're going to remove him, and, like, you know, South Korea style, we're just gonna be done with this guy and anybody else, right? Like, stay centered in us being the power, okay? Because there are much more of us than him. And so what the red line is, the red line is obviously would be, you know, either killing or imprisoning a high-level public official and or trying to take control over a public city or something, right? Something out of his jurisdiction where he actually does it and doesn't just toy with it. Because the thing is somebody said he's already doing it, and it's like, but he's not, guys. He's like poking, okay? He's doing things in a, like, oh, see, right? Like, for example, if you have a baby, like, what does a baby do? A toddler, when they're having a tantrum, you're trying to feed them, they grab their bowl and they throw it on the floor. That's what Trump is doing. He's grabbing the bowl and throwing it on the floor. He's smashing the glass of water you give him. He's doing these tiny little acts of rebellion that are challenging the system, and they're slightly stepping over the Constitution. But he is not doing a full out, like, no turning back assault. And the thing about it, Leslie, is killing an innocent mother. I hate to say this, but, like, this happens a lot. I mean, Breonna Taylor, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could list you 100 innocent people murdered by the state. Like, acting like Renee Good is the first innocent person murdered by law enforcement. That's ridiculous. America's been murdering innocent people via law enforcement for as long as I've been alive. Philando Castile, George Floyd. I mean, there's a dozen of them. I mean, I know it sucks, but we can't act like that is not something that has happened under every administration. You know what I'm saying? That's not a Donald Trump thing. That's an American, like, law enforcement obsessed, like, shitty thing. I mean, the fact that it happened to a white woman is pretty different, but it's really heartbreaking, you know. But my point is Trump is actually, guys, Trump has been very careful to not step over red lines. Okay, he has been very careful. I mean, you hear his people calling for the arrest of Obama, right? And they charged James Comey, but, like, that went in and out of the court and was gone. So same with Tish James, right? He is just sort of pushing where he can push. and he is testing the boundaries, but he has actually been very, very fucking careful of like not crossing the red line, because I think on some level he knows that the whole world's against him. And even though he gets off on that when he's out there posturing, you know, he hasn't crossed a red line. Like crossing a red line would be like, you know, arresting Gavin Newsom at gunpoint with no charges, okay? Or Tim Walz, if they went in and like shot Tim Walz, or if they went in and arrested Tim Walz and all of his staff with no charges filed and simply disappeared them. Those would be red lines. Like even when they arrested the mayor, you know, in New Jersey or Rep. McIver, they always stayed within the letter of the law. And that's why those people got out right away. That's why the charges got dropped. I mean, they've been very careful to talk big, but execute safe in a way that gives them plausible deniability with their boundary pushing. Again, I don't want to be stupid and pretend like nothing's happening, but like you gotta stay centered in us having the power, okay? Like, or you're not going to be able to resist. You're not going to be able to resist if you build them up to where like, oh, they've already broken all the rules and it's over, right? I mean, you gotta maintain a sense of like, you know, empowerment. And I think you have to know what you like define a red line. And I think that's the problem, guys, is I don't think anyone has really defined a red line, right? I mean, I've been pretty clear about it where I think if he tries to do the Insurrection Act and if he tries to take control of a local or state government, then that it has to be the red line. Even if he doesn't like arrest them, if they were to like remove Tim Walz from the governor's mansion and from the, you know, the governor's offices, and they were to occupy the state government or the city government of Minneapolis, like we would have to revolt. Like, see, he's able to do that with DC, right? They control DC, the executive branch, so him sending the National Guard. You see, he sent the National Guard to Chicago and Pritzker beat him. He took control of him in LA and Gavin beat him. He tried to do it in Portland and Portland beat him. But if he actually did it, where even after the court decision, he locks our mayor out of City Hall here in Portland and he installs his people in our City Hall and takes control of the police force, then that is the red line, okay? That is a red line. Like, that is a very clear, and there's, right, because the thing about boundary pushers, okay, and you have to notice this, is much of the Republican boundary pushing is to push the boundaries, but have that plausible deniability, okay? Like, for example, even with Renee, let me use Renee as an example, okay? I'm going to show you plausible deniability. So with Renee, they commanded her to get out of the car. She drives away. They shoot her. Now, we know what they did, but they do have the plausible deniability of she tried to drive away. She was weaponizing her vehicle. Now, no plausible deniability would be Renee is sitting in that car and the agent walks right up and just blows her away without her even moving the car. That's the red line where, like, now there's no plausible deniability. They can't say she weaponized anything. She's literally just waving, and they walk right up and put a gun to her head and just pull the trigger, okay? See the difference in those two situations? One of them, once she's driving, they can say this happened, even though we know it didn't, but they can still hide behind the fact that she was driving, therefore she had weaponized. I think there is a difference there. And we have to be cognizant of that because they're going to try to use every situation where they can get away with a little plausible deniability. They're going to like go overboard there, but they have been very careful to not engage in situations of the other type where they can actually be called out. And this is though they've still been losing in court, even with the, them trying to use plausible deniability, because that plausible deniability stuff doesn't work in court. It works in the media. It works when you're posting on Twitter, but it doesn't go over very well in court because, right? Because you have to support that shit. You can't, right? You can, like, a good lawyer can crack that plausible deniability shell very easily, like we are about to do it, okay? Like we are about to do with looking at this video. And now the thing is Trump does want to try to use the Insurrection Act. He does, okay? But I don't think he's going to have success, okay? I don't think he's going to have success. So let me get this straight. The red line is lining you up against the wall. No, I don't think that's the red line at all. I think the red line is a clear, like, no plausible deniability, like a move that breaks the Constitution under zero plausible deniability. And I mean, we can look at other things, right? Like the CCOT, okay? They didn't launch any new planes after Judge Boasberg made his declaration, but the planes that were in the air, they didn't return, okay? And so there you go. That was like that plane was in the air and we like misunderstood your order and therefore blah, 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 right? And my thing is when it is a straight denial or a straight breach of power that makes no effort to hide behind plausible deniability, when that is a point of no return, okay? You know what I'm saying? And red line was reached and breached a long time ago. Wake up. I disagree, boss. I mean, I don't know what you mean by that. When you say wake up, what are you insinuating? That I'm supposed to grab a rifle and just start shooting people? Like, come on, wake up. I am very awake, boss. I keep a very good eye on this. I keep a good eye on all the legal battles and shit too. And I keep a good eye on Trump's changing strategy, because the way out of this is winning the House. Okay. The way out of this is winning the House. And you're not going to win the House if you're running around panicked like a chicken with your head cut off. Okay. Like, we're in a situation and now you got to get out of the situation, and you're not going to do that if you're panicked and flailing. So stop flailing and start being purposeful and with your energy. That's all I'm saying, right? Is flailing is not going to get you out of this. Okay? Panicking is not going to get you out of this. We have to remain focused. And it is November. All right? It is November, and we're going to make it out of this. But I mean, it's like the building is on fire and the fire department is not coming. Okay? So that means it's up to us. All right? It is up to us. And we're going to get out of this. But guys, we got to be very purposeful, because I'm telling you, if we don't win in 26 and in 2028, we're going to be in a bind. And I'm bothered because I said this in 2024 to everyone on the Democratic left. If we don't win this election, we're going to be in a pickle, and people still fucked around. They destroyed their candidates. They fought with each other. They argued over needless shit, and they had fucking stupid purity tests. And we sabotaged ourselves, and a bunch of people got uninspired and stayed home. And like, yeah, our leaders made all the mistakes in the world. But guys, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if our leaders do the piss poor leadership, if they make all the mistakes in the book. It is on us to get them in office and then to hold them accountable once we get them there. All right? We can't blame our leaders forever. Oh, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. No, well, let's get them the power. And then once they have the power, let's sledgehammer them until they do our bidding, okay? And that's important. We got to do that this time. We are going to get Democrats in every fucking race we can. And then once we get them in, that's going to be the start of our pressure on them, okay? and we can do this. You know what I'm saying? We can do this, you know? And the thing about it is, though, Urban, is for me, I don't even care what they campaign on. All right. I understand your point. If you're not campaigning on holding people accountable, don't even run. I mean, I will take whoever it is. I don't care what they campaign on. I don't care if they campaign on a fucking head of lettuce. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I'm going to get every Democrat in there and get as much power as we can. And then we're going to force like some agenda points. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to listen to the fucking campaigns. I don't care. They can say whatever they think they need to say to try and get elected, and we're going to get them elected anyway. And then once we're elected, we will then deal with like what action needs to be taken. All right. And I hope you'll join me in that because it really doesn't matter what people say during the campaign. It really matters much more what people do after they have the power. Okay. After they have the power. And we have a historic chance here, guys, of severely weakening the Republican coalition. Because, guys, you ready for this? They've been working on us. Okay? They have been working on us for 25 years. Since Clinton, they have been working on the state level. They have taken states like Wisconsin that are 55% Democrat, and their state legislature is 70% Republican because they've gerrymandered and they've controlled these states. They have heisted and taken over. They have like done an insurrection on state and local governments that they started 20 years ago. And we have a historic chance to break up all that shit. Okay? We do. We have a historic chance to break up those super majorities and to even break up some of those majorities in state legislatures. And so we have to be more active. We have to stop the bleeding first. Yes, we do. I mean, dude, a lot of this is on Democrats. Like Obama won, we got a black man in the White House, and we're like, oh, we did it. Civil rights is over. Gay rights are here. Gay marriage, we won. And like, but no, we've been lazy. Okay, Democrats have been lazy because we've been the popular force for so long. All we've had to do is resist ineffective Republicans. But the point is we have to be very feisty and retake all the state level governments, guys. Okay, we do. We got to retake it. We got to focus local. Okay, we got to get back to the local shit. You know what I'm saying? We did get comfortable. And I mean, I get it. You know, it's like we all get comfortable, right? You know what I'm saying? We all do it. I do it with my YouTube channel. If I have a video that's hitting, I think, oh, I'm going to let it breathe. I'm going to go hang out. And like, no, you got to double down sometimes, right? But we're going to be all right. Let's go. Couldn't bring yourself to vote for a Republican. Let's go. Your mama's fave. Dude, yeah, no, Bush was hell. But guys, we do have a historic opportunity here. All right. You ready? Let's look at this video. Dude, we have a historic opportunity because they're demoralized, guys. They are demoralized. Okay? They are demoralized. And they are fucking, you ready? Dude, let's watch this video real quick. Bongino, that's why he quit. You ready? Bongino, that's why he quit the FBI. Because Pam Bondi made him come in every day and drop his pants and lean over her desk while she snorted lines of Ozempic off his bare ass. And he just got humiliated from having to do that every day. She'd be like, drop him, Bongo. Dude. Let's go. Drop him, Bongo. All right. Dude, let's go. That's the truth. Bongino's truth. All right. So let's look at this video, guys. Okay? We're going to look at this video. All right? This is the video from the shooter. Okay, from the shooter, Jonathan Ross, okay? And he was filming with his cell phone camera. But we're going to watch the whole video and then we're going to break it down, okay? Because even with this video, they're still making the claim that, oh, she tried to run him over. This was a self-defense thing. He had a right to do this because she was endangering his life. Now, I'm going to let you know you're not going to see anything crazy here. You're not going to see there's no wounding. You don't see any of the actual stuff. It does appear that some shit has been cut out around that. Who released the video? I do not know, Grumpy Cat. I mean, I don't know how they got it. And it does seem like it has been edited, but here, let's watch. Now, it begins with the shooter getting out of his car. Okay, here we go.
Change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Okay. So, I mean, I only heard 2 shots there, so it seemed like a shot was missing. But now we're going to review this thing, and let's look at this, okay? Because again, here's the stipulation. The stipulation from the side of the ICE is a couple of things. Is that his life was in danger. She was weaponizing her vehicle. Okay, that was the stipulation. Now, the first thing we want to look at is that this guy gets out and he's filming. Okay, so now he's sitting there recording. He does not have his service weapon drawn. He has his phone out and he's recording this vehicle. Now, the first thing I want to point out, guys, okay, the first thing I want to point out is that he walks all the way around this car, okay? You see that? He walks all the way around that car, okay? Now, why am I pointing out that he walks all the way around that car? Because if he was imminently worried about this driver harming him, killing him, using this vehicle as a weapon, he would not walk all the way around the car, okay? He completely circled it, which means, and he did it slowly with no weapon drawn. So that vehicle clearly from the beginning was not a threat to him because he felt comfortable enough to be right next to it while it was running and circle it, okay? And interact with the people there. Renee, the word means reborn, born again. Let's go. Nicole means victory of the people. Good. All right, let's go, Blunt. Thank you. So that's the first thing that I want to point out is that he walked all the way around the car and this person's interaction.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
I'm not mad at you. That's fine, dude. Right? There's no terrorist. There's no threat. There's no verbal threat. There's not even a verbal intonation threat. So first we've established that before this, he's relaxed. He's safe enough to go around the car. He's walking right in front of the passenger who's out there, and the passenger's being a little bit more aggressive. Okay, her wife is being slightly more aggressive, but still there's no open threats other than go get some lunch, you big boy, right? But there's no threat. He is not threatened at all. Now, one other thing I want to point out is during the course of this, we see that there is no riot, okay? Tricia McLaughlin and the DHS said that there was a riot, but there's no riot. There's only 3 people on the curb. There's not even a big crowd here. In the course of him circling this car, we see the area around this. There's no riot. There's no crowd. There's no imminent threat of like 100 people, right? If there were 100 people out there yelling and screaming and they had like bats, then maybe he could argue, yeah, I was worried that crowd was going to rush me. But there's nothing. There's no crowd. There's no weapons. There's 3 people that are 30 feet away on the sidewalk. And in fact, the dog's not even barking. Okay. So there is no threat at all with this. He is standing right next to this person. Look at him. Look at how close he gets to her wife. Okay. He's looking right at her. This guy is safe as can be. Okay. Next up, one thing I want to point out is the ICE agent who comes up to her car right here.
You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car.
Okay, now, I want to talk about this agent here who comes over and says, get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Okay, first off, guys, this agent has no legal authority to do that. Okay? This agent has no legal authority to remove her from this vehicle. Okay? We know she's not blocking the street because we saw another car drive away. Okay? She is not made a threat. There is no, undocumented person in her vehicle. She is clearly a white American citizen. There is no legal recourse for this guy to even demand that she get out of the car. So once he says, get out of the car, get out of the fucking car, and he starts reaching in her window, he is now invading her personal space. He is now threatening her in a way that he has no legal authority to do. He is violating her civil rights. At that moment, she has the right to drive away. Okay? She has the right to drive away. There is absolutely no reason she has to stay there. He has no legal authority over her. Now, you ready? Now, as far as the wife, I want to show you what happens with the wife, because as soon as he says, get out of the car, get out of the fucking car, an escalation happens. And that now, as soon as that happens, guys, both her and her wife get scared and start realizing that these guys might harm them. And the first thing the wife does is she brings her phone down. She is no longer focused on recording. She's trying to get in the car. And the only reason she can't is because the door is locked. And in the meantime, the driver is immediately turning her wheels to drive away from these officers.
Get out of the fucking car.
Right?
Out of the car.
And now she can't get in the car, and she's scared for her girlfriend, for her wife, and she says, drive, baby, drive, meaning get out of here. Don't let them pull you out of that car. They are now afraid, okay? And so she is moving. Now the wife has not gotten in. Now look at this, though. Is one thing you want to notice is when we see the driver, okay, the whole time she is going hard right. She is clearly turning away from where these officers are, right? Hard right. You see her? She's not pulling towards. She is going hard right. Now look at where this guy is. This guy is on the front right corner. He is not directly in front of her. He is like, if this is her car, okay? If this is her car, he's over here. Wait, let me do it here. If this is her car, right? He's over... I'm trying to orient myself. He's like over here, right? He's not in front of it. She's turning this way, and he's over here, okay? And she is clearly turning hard right, okay? And he is like here. He's moving this way, okay? He's moving that way. And then he's like, whoa. Okay, now, we think maybe they cut some stuff out there. Okay, we only hear 2 gunshots and not 3. He says, whoa. But now, here's one thing I want to point out, though, guys, is he never drops the phone. Okay? He never dropped the phone. He moved the phone to his non-dominant hand, pulled out his service weapon, and then through the whole thing, he never dropped the phone. Okay? I mean, if my life is in danger, I'm dropping the phone and pulling the gun. Okay? He never dropped that phone. He moved it to his hand and pulled out his weapon while she was hard turning to the right. Watch her. She's turning to the right. Okay? He is now switching the phone to his other hand. Right? It's like, I think, let's figure out when he pulls the gun. I think he actually switches the phone as he goes in front. Right? Because he's pulling his gun right now. Okay? Now, this looks like his face, doesn't it? Is that his mask? I think that's his mask. The camera's looking up. So this is probably when if you look at the other video, he puts his non-dominant hand on the hood. Okay, so he is like, it is his face. He has now taken his camera and put it on the hood while he's pointing the gun at her and firing. Okay? Right? That is his jacket collar and his mask. Okay? And he fires at her. And now let's listen to what he says here.
Get out of the car.
All right, you hear that little thing at the end where he says, fucking bitch? So after he shoots, he did touch the car, yes. Yeah, I mean, you see it in the other video where as she pulls out, he like put his arm out to make sure he was clear and that car wasn't going to hit him. Okay, if it had hit him, there would have been some backwards motion or he would have fallen. But he basically braced himself on the car to shoot her. And then as soon as she passes, his comment is fucking bitch. And the fucking bitch part is really important, guys, because what it does is it wasn't, he didn't say like, she hit me, she drove over me. He didn't say, stop, freeze, you just hurt a federal officer, you just assaulted a federal officer. He said, you fucking bitch. He was like, you know, venting rage at her disobeyal, right? At her disobeying him, at her refusing to like stop for him or what have you. But it's very clear, okay? It's very clear that he was upset at what had happened here and he was venting, offloading some of that, you know, definite malice, definite like a resentment of the thing there, right? I mean, he was aware that she was not stopping. Now, again, though, guys, is one thing I do want to point out is this right here. Is look at this. Look at that move right there. Okay, watch this. Dude, losing my shit with these motherfuckers. Appreciate you. Thank you, Ridge. I want you to see something here. Okay, because he is on this side of the car. Okay? Now, as she backs up, okay, she's gonna back up, and he is also moving toward the driver's side as she backs up. But watch what happens right there. You see that? So look at this. He's over on this side. He could have remained here, okay, when when he realizes she's leaving, as she's backing up, he goes and moves to the driver's side. Now you're going to see her hard turn to the right. Now right here, he moves closer to the vehicle. Okay? He steps toward the car right here. He moves toward the car as she drives away right there. Okay? He actually steps toward the moving car. And that is very telling. Okay? If he was actually concerned about her hitting him, he wouldn't have stepped toward the car. He would have moved back. Okay? He would have stepped back. He would have tried to create distance. Okay? But he actually, you watch him, he moves toward the car right after she starts turning. Watch. Right here. You see that? Did you see that? Hold on, I'm going to go back. Right here. Okay, and I think you hear his hand. Watch, listen to the sound when you see his face. I think you hear his hand hit the hood. You hear that? You can hear his hand hit the hood. He moves toward the car and she drives and he actually hits the hood. He steps forward, he steps into it, he hits the hood and he fucking shoots. Okay? So all of that information there's a lot of fucking moves there. There's a lot of things that impeach his story that he was afraid and that he was worried. The Tory experienced excellent analysis and breakdown, case closed, file charges. Now, let me just tell you, he was not scared. He was not pissed. Okay. He was not scared. He was not pissed, but you definitely hear him you hear him fucking hit the car. See, there's a black frame there too that I think is an edit. Right there. Like, guys, that looks like a digital black. That looks like an edit. Like not a coverage black. I mean, it can be a little hard to tell, but normally the way I tell digital black is when you have a coverage black, there will be some banding. You know what banding is? If you look at black banding, right? When there's black banding on video, right? Banding will be like, you'll see like the striations of black, right? It's a little hard to see here, but we can find a good image of black banding, right? There's banding where there are these little marks, and you will see that in black too. Right? Let me see if we can find a good image of it in darkness. Right? Yeah, like this. You see this? This is pretty pronounced because it's like where there's like a tiny bit of light. Okay, there will be a little bit of this color banding, okay, where you will have the black, right? Oh, I guess it's not going to let me zoom in, but you will have the black and a shade of black that is a little bit of banding, and here there is clearly like there is no banding at all. That is a digital black, right? Now, so I think maybe there was an edit or what have you. It looks like this was possibly, there was a cut here and maybe something was removed. I don't know, redacted. We don't know. And we'll have to see, obviously, if we get access to this guy's phone, there would be an uncut version on the phone and they'd be able to tell. But you saw a video that showed her slump down. Yeah, see, I don't want to see that video. And I don't want to see anything. I don't need to see her getting harmed. But what we do have to point out is in some, okay, in some, I want to talk about a couple of things. That one, I want to look at the official DHS statement. Okay? We have to look at the Minneapolis DHS statement. Okay? Right? Where, let me find this. Hold on. Because okay, you ready? Because of this, okay? Look at this. Okay, because oh wait, it is right here. It says rioters began blocking ICE officers. And now that is a absolute lie. There were no rioters. Violent rioters, okay? There was no violence. She was like, I'm not mad at you, dude. Her wife was, go get some lunch, big boy. But there was no violence. There were no rioters. There weren't even a crowd of people there, okay? And she was clearly not attempting to run over law enforcement. And the ICE officer was not fearing for his life. Now, let's recap some of the shit we have here about how the officer went in close proximity to the vehicle. He completely circled it, front, back, and sideways. So he was in front of the vehicle, he was in back of the vehicle, and once the vehicle started moving, he moved closer to the vehicle in the front. So it was clearly moving at a rate of speed that he was not afraid of moving in front of it. Okay? If that car had been going 60 miles an hour, I'm willing to bet he wouldn't have walked in front of it. Okay? He walked in front of it because it was slow moving. It was no danger. He kept his camera running the whole time. He touched the hood with his camera and showed his face. He pulled out his service revolver the minute the car started moving, and the car was in reverse when he pulled out his service revolver. Again, these officers were trying to force this woman out of her vehicle when the woman had done nothing. And there was no time in this whole thing where he ever feared for his life. However, there was a moment the minute she disobeyed them, there was a moment where he was filled with rage. And as a result of that rage, he fired several gunshots. And then he said, "You fucking bitch," afterwards, as she was dying in the road and driving down the street. And now we're not hearing everything. I have also heard that there were contrary orders. Like some people were saying, "Get the fuck out of here." And somebody was saying, "Get the fuck out of the car." But again, though, guys, all of that is moot because an ICE agent, a CBP agent, does not have the legal authority to force you out of your car unless you are committing a crime in front of them. And that was not happening here. And now this is tragic, okay? This is tragic because this is fucking should not have been there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It should not have happened. It should not have fucking, it should not have occurred. Okay? None of this needed to happen. Okay? None of this needed to happen. Now, I want to show you here, if we look at the version here that has the slowed down version, you'll see this is when she's backing up, okay? And this is when he moves. Now he's pulling his gun, okay? Now right here, you're going to see his hand with the phone. His hand is on the car right there, okay? And then he fires, and then he reaches up and fires again. 2 shots in quick succession, okay? He never even loses his feet. Now, guys, I want to show you something, though. I want to show you something because I want to show you the wider angle of this, okay? Because the fact that he doesn't lose his footing, okay? No, in the video I hear 2 shots, but I want to show you something because there is a point I want to make, guys, okay? Where let me show you this. All right, let's watch this. Because look at this wide video, guys, okay? This is a very important point because the guy claims he was hit, he was whatever threatened, but watch him, okay? Watch him. He comes around. He's now switched the phone to his non-dominant hand. You can see him with the phone in his left hand. You see it? He's still got the phone operating. And while his phone is operating, he pulls his gun out. And then he puts his hand on the hood and fires the shot, okay? But now watch this, because this guy who was grabbing hold of her window did not fall, okay? She wasn't driving fast enough to make this guy fall. And she didn't contact him enough to make him fall. But look what happens over here. This guy fell. You see that? You see that little detail? A guy running up fell, okay? So this guy ran up and lost his balance, simply moving, but there was not enough contact or enough interference here to make either of these guys slip. But the floor was clearly slippery because this guy practically fell on his ass running up. So that shows you that this is slippery and icy here, but this interaction was so non-confrontational. It was so like non-shocking that it didn't even make these guys lose their footing. Okay, the wife is standing right here, right? The wife is right here. The wife tried to get in the car right here, can't get it. And then the wife stepped back, right? And then he's firing multiple shots. The wife didn't realize that her wife had been shot. But I think this guy falling is an important detail because they remained controlled through the whole thing. They remained controlled. It's only after she drives away that the wife realizes that she's hurt. When the car crashes, the wife realizes what's up. But yeah, those guys were controlled. They didn't fall on the slippery road. There wasn't even enough contact to make them fall, but it's very damning, guys, that this guy slipped, okay? That is very damning that this guy just walking up slipped. Because, wow, if there had been real contact, if this had been really, fucking jarring, these guys would have slipped, right? They didn't move fast enough or even have enough fucking impact to cause them to slip on that slippery road that is clearly slippery. Dude, I'm not even a lawyer, and I'm telling you right now, I could convince a jury of the story I just showed you in 2 hours. I would have them like walking out of there convicting this guy. Okay, this was what this was, guys, is this was an unthreatened ICE officer in tandem with another unthreatened ICE officer who were trying to, with a lack of legal authority, they were trying to bully and violate the civil rights of the woman in that car and to escalate this situation. And when she disobeyed them, he reacted with brutal rage and he continued to film it. And then he vented after it. And then he showed no remorse. He showed no, in fact, afterwards, he's like, just swung his hand around, was like, let's roll. And he left the scene. And fucking, dude, everything about this shows that this guy committed like a rageful moment, a moment of retribution. Now, in June of 2025, this same officer was involved in a situation with a car where he smashed the window of a car, threatening the occupant. The occupant drove away and he stayed wrestling with the occupant. He got dragged and ended up getting stitches. So he's had a previous situation of smashing a window needlessly, exercising non-legal authority, threatening a victim, violating their civil rights, and not letting go when he was in fact in harm's way. So he had a previous incident of showing a reckless abandon for the law and for DHS rules, because DHS has two very strict rules. Number one, you never get in the path of a moving vehicle. You never approach a vehicle from the front, and you never put yourself in the path of a moving vehicle. That is DHS rule number one. Number two is you never shoot at a moving vehicle. You do not, because that turns the vehicle into an unstoppable weapon. If you shoot a person and they die, that vehicle will continue moving, and potentially you or somebody else could get hurt. Okay? 𝗙rie𝗹𝗹, 100% spot on take. Let's go. So this guy has a prior of engaging in the same aggressive and over-the-top behavior. And now, what's more, I've heard some people argue that this guy has PTSD, that this guy, that previous event caused him to have some PTSD. However, if he has PTSD that's really affecting him, then it's negligence on the whole DHS and on, the whole system, because he shouldn't have even had a gun. He shouldn't have even been out there if he's grappling with PTSD. Okay? He shouldn't have even been out there if he had PTSD. Giving a gun and putting someone in a high-pressure situation around other vehicles when you have PTSD from being too aggressive with the vehicle, that's a big no-no. Now, after watching this, guys, all I can say is it's clear that this was murder. This was about retribution and punishment for a perceived disobeyal of these agents, when in fact these agents had no legal standing to even threaten this woman or drag her out of her car. And on top of that, he left the scene, and then everybody lied. Okay, Tricia McLaughlin lied, Kristi Noem lied, J.D. Vance lied. These guys left the scene. They didn't even report this correctly. They didn't release the information. So Tricia McLaughlin, Kristi Noem, and J.D. Vance should all resign. These officers, these two guys in particular, should be fired. This guy needs to go up on murder charges, and this guy should be an accessory because he's the one who initially aggressed and made threats that violated her civil rights from the beginning when he had no legal standing. She was not committing a felony. She was not even blocking the road. We've seen the footage where a car drives by. Okay? So this is outrageous. Okay? It is outrageous, guys. The level of lying, obfuscation. I mean, it is like, it's criminal to lie about this shit, but they put it on paper. They put it in tweets and in official statements where they lied about this, all the way down to the claims of there being rioters and that the fact that these officers were in danger from a crowd of violent rioters. Typical abuser shit. They like to get in front of cars to stop because they know a good person will try not to harm them. A normal person wouldn't even try. And Drea, let's go. Yeah, now I'm going to posit something, guys. I'm going to posit something that these officers like him, they step in front of the car because they know that you don't have enough time to actually make that vehicle harmful, but they know if you even graze their body, they're allowed to then use violence. So he steps in front of the car and he steps toward that car in order to encourage an excuse for them to use violence. It is an act of escalation and aggression. 100%. And dude, J.D. Vance he's going to pay a political price for this. This is going to haunt them, guys. Now, what's wild about this is the gaslighting, okay? Because let's look at some of the people, look at Don Jr., okay? Right? If you look at Donald Trump Jr., all right? Dude, where the fuck is this guy? Dude, why doesn't he show up? Dude, they made it so you can't search him. All right. If you look at him, like, look at what he posted. He says, the media owes J.D. Vance and all of America a big apology. The Minneapolis ICE shooting is literally Covington 2026. Shows the ICE officer getting hit by the car. She comes right at him. It doesn't get more conclusive than that. But like, dude, all of this is out, just insane. Calling her an agitator, right? You know what I mean? Dude, the ICE officer should sue the media. I mean, dude, this is wild. And of course, when he says thread, you notice he doesn't offer really any points, okay? Right? If she's just trying to drive away, why is her wife not trying to get in the car? But we saw her wife try to get in the car. Her wife grabbed the door and it was locked, okay? Right? You know what I'm saying? And in fact, her hands never stopped turning, okay? Her hands never stopped turning. He never dropped his camera, okay? But he points one thing that we debunked in 2 seconds, and none of this is actually about the points, right? Dude, it is fucking crazy, okay? But all of them were doing this, okay? All of the right-wingers were using the same script, okay? This guy says, just in, new POV footage, right? He was directly in front of, she floored it. You can hear the engine rev up. The agent then discharges his firearm, right? Dude, more obvious, dude, this is bullshit. Okay, again, more bullshit. But all of them are like taking some detail, dude. Kyle said that they talk themselves into lying so much it's like a religion for them. It was a standard Kyle fare and a good comment. All right, Nick Sortor said, who was rammed by Renee Good, anti-ICE activist. She was clearly not an anti-ICE activist, right? He was clearly not just hit, but hit hard. Also a lie. 100% justified. Dude, this is, again, all of this. Like, right? Yeah. There's no chirping tires. There was no squealing. There was no, right? The car didn't fishtail. I mean, we all know, right? You watch it. You can show everybody this, right? And again, right, all of this is fraudulent. I'm sure Libs of TikTok has some crazy shit, but you notice how they use really aggressive, rammed, right, fucking, you know, agitator, violent, hard, right? That's what they do. They use those terminologies. A lot of these people have fucking banned me, but let's find Libs of TikTok's take, because I'm sure their take is going to, did she not even do it? Oh my God, dude. Libs of TikTok didn't even put the clip out. Oh, dude, that's interesting. You see that? I don't think Libs of TikTok even posted the clip. She didn't. She just posted, oh yeah, no, there she did. Okay. Right? Tried to run over, right? Show this video to anyone claiming she was a legal observer. I mean, dude, right? Yeah. Right? Dude, I mean, the gaslighting is crazy, okay? The gaslighting is crazy, all right? Absolutely insane. And they said, Democrats don't want you to see this new footage. Oh, but we do. Oh, but we do, Haya. You miserable lying biatch. Dude. But again, her hands, if you watch that video, guys, her hands never stop moving. Watch her hands. Watch her hands here.
You want to come at us?
There he switches. There's where he switches to the non-dominant hand, guys.
You want to come at us?
Right?
I say go get yourself some.
He now has it in his non-dominant hand, which is, you ready? Oh, that's a very important detail, guys. You know why that's an important detail? Right there? because I was trying to find when he switched to the non-dominant hand. And I'll tell you why that's an important detail, because this car is not moved yet. He is already preparing to grab his service revolver. Premeditated. The car has not moved. She has not backed up. She has not moved an inch. And he has already decided, I'm getting ready to grab my weapon before he even steps in front of that car. That is huge right there. That is perhaps the most damning piece of evidence. The minute she insults him and says, get some lunch, big boy, he switches hands.
You want to come at us?
Right? As soon as she says, you want to come at us? Right there, dude, he is preparing.
You want to come at us? You want to?
She says, you want to come at us? And he switches to get his gun hand ready. The minute she says, you want to come at us? He is preparing to shoot them right there. That is fucking wild.
You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy.
Oh, shit. Dude, it keeps fucking moving my shit. Hold on.
You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy.
So at that point, he is ready to get his gun right there. Okay? And then after he does that, while this guy is pulling up on the drivers, he then steps in front. And then at the very last minute, when she's moving, he even moves in closer.
Get out of the car.
And you hear her wife, who couldn't get in the car, and her wife is like, drive, baby, drive. She's scared. Okay, they are scared. They are scared that they're going to get forcibly pulled out of this car, beaten up, tortured, sent to Louisiana or Alligator Alcatraz or Seacott or what have you. And yes, after this happened, and after the killer does this and says, let's go, and the killer leaves the scene, the National Guard surrounded that car and they prevented a doctor from treating Renee Nicole Good's injuries, and they prevented an ambulance from getting there, and they let her bleed to death on the side of the road. And so that, my friends, is just astonishing, really. Just absolutely, like, I mean, I've seen some shit, you know, I've seen some shit in my day with Rodney King and people getting beaten senseless by cops, and you see these videos of like shootings and shit, you know, but I have never seen a video where like rent-a-cops, I mean, these guys are rent-a-cops, okay? They're not police. She wasn't a perpetrator. She wasn't somebody who had drugs on her or had committed a crime. She's literally a citizen observer that was sitting there trying to wave them to drive past her, and they chose to not do that. They actually harassed, intimidated, violated her civil rights, and then murdered her in cold blood, and then vented about what a bitch she was for them having completely murdered her for no fucking reason, man. None. And like, we're gonna step it up. Okay? They thought they've seen resistance now. You ain't seen nothing yet. Have I seen Mr. Global YouTube Short? I have not. Let's go. Thank you, Victor. You ain't seen nothing yet. Baby. You ain't seen nothing yet. Dude, we will crank it up, guys. Okay? We're going to crank this up. Now, you may have noticed that Minneapolis PD, okay, MPD, because the feds are denying evidence, okay? The federal government, the FBI, is denying evidence to MPD, okay? They are specifically preventing Minneapolis police from having any of the evidence to be able to investigate this. Okay? So now in Minneapolis, I want to see if I can find the tweet, okay, where Minneapolis has requested evidence. See, that right there shows you that there was space to drive around her car. Okay, but let me see if I can find the tweet. Dude, the Elon has made the search engine work not good. But let me see if we have Minneapolis. Maybe it was the Minnesota Attorney General. But I want to find the tweet. It may have been the Attorney General where they said they made a request. I don't know where it is. I think, was it Keith Ellison's office? Yeah, right here. Community evidence request. This is what they did. This is it. Okay? Where they said they're requesting evidence submission. Okay, if you have information, right, email this, and this is a place where you can submit videos, photos, any information, because again, the federal government is denying them access. Okay, the federal government is preventing. Now, this is unheard of. Okay, now, in these types of things, okay, what will happen, guys, is it is normal for the FBI to come in and take jurisdiction, okay? It is normal for the FBI to come in and take the lead and call the shots and control what everybody does and who goes where. But they never don't share the evidence. There is always a mutual sharing where the FBI gives them all the evidence they have, and the city and state and the sheriffs give the FBI all the evidence they have. And it becomes a resource pool with the FBI then directing and calling the shots and leading the investigation. I have never seen a federal investigation where the federal government has not shared the evidence and information. That is unprecedented. That never fucking happens. I've never seen it happen in my 56 years of being on this fucking planet. Okay? It is exclusively to control the information. I mean, it's the same thing they're doing with the Epstein files. They're hiding it, they're covering it up, and they're protecting their own interests. And yes, right now, the entire Trump government is a criminal regime. It is, in fact, true. They are completely breaking the law. Every day that those Epstein files are not out, they are in violation of a federal law. Trump's entire government, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, Kash Patel, all of them are in violation of federal law every day. Okay? And it's mounting. I mean, they are a mafia at this point. Okay? And yeah, I mean, dude, it's a red line, but you know, they are the executive branch, right? That's the problem. Like, who executes when somebody is crossing a red line? Who's the one who apprehends them? The executive branch. Enforce the law, guys. This is the problem we have is as far as legal recourse goes, right? The job of enforcing when people are breaking federal laws, it is the executive branch that is tasked with enforcing the law. So how can you legally enforce the law when the executive branch is breaking the law and they refuse to enforce it? That's the problem we have, guys. I mean, I think they're trying to figure out how they can enforce the law, okay? And I'm sure they're working on this, trying to figure out, because you have to have legal recourse. You know, you do have to have legal recourse. Otherwise, you're endangering the whole opportunity to punish them. That is the problem with the law. But dude, isn't that crazy? When the law breaks the law, right? When the FBI breaks the law, we're in new territory. This is what we like to call virgin territory, my friends. Okay, we are I used to date a girl from Hanover, Germany, and she would say Weirgin. We are in Weirgin territory. Weirgin. Dude, we are in Weirgin territory. Weirgin. Dude, Tanya, she was amazing. This is my first lady friend in high school. Oh, dude, she hardly spoke English, right? We used to speak German together, but she pronounced it Weirgin. Weirgin. Man, dude, isn't that crazy? That's where we're at, guys. Dude, I'm glad we have a dance party coming up. Here's to better times, y'all. Thank you, Ella. Let's go. All right, let's see what Steve Kerr said about the shootings.
Well, I'm glad that the Timberwolves, recognized, her life and the tragic nature of her death, and it's shameful, really, that in our country we can have law enforcement officers who commit murder and seemingly get away with it. It's shameful that the government can come out and lie about what happened when there's video and witnesses who have all come out and disputed what the government is saying. So,
yeah, it's funny. It's funny. I'd like to say what salt-coated sugar says right there. You see this comment right here? Not new to black people. And this is one of the things that's really interesting right now, because black people have been dealing with this shit for 200 fucking years, bro. 200 years. It's never not been like this. And now the white people are like, man, like we gotta make sure this never happens again. And it's like, I hope all the white people take a moment to breathe deep and realize for 200 years, black people have been telling us this is their experience. And we've been like, nah, you need to get over it. You're overreacting. Why are you like protesting? Why you set that shit on fire? And it's like, yeah, you see what it feels like when you watch it happen, when you watch them get gunned down and then they lie and everybody's just fine with it. Welcome to walking one fucking day in 200 years of every day for people of color in this fucking country. Okay? Like, dude, feel it. Don't forget this feeling, guys. And then let's take the black community and like put them under our wings and like let's all soar, because they've been like staunchly defending us, voting. Black women, 95% like Democrat voters. They're so reliable, feisty, getting the vote out, organizing their communities. Many of them having their voting precincts closed. They're standing in line for 12 fucking hours, having to go across town and shit, having to like do the high jump and jump through burning hoops just to cast a goddamn vote. And they're like, hello? Are you listening now? You know, let's take a moment to not forget this. Okay? And you know, this is a familiar fucking pain, guys. A familiar pain. Okay? A familiar pain.
So very demoralizing, devastating to lose, you know, anyone's life, especially in that matter. So it's terrible, terribly sad for her family and for her and for that city. And I'm glad the Timberwolves came out and
yeah, and dude, we need to vote like mad, dude. All right, so let me see. All right, again here, now you see these guys are like, oh, time for the Insurrection Act. Fuck the Insurrection Act.
Why are you letting your city be walk like this? Let's go. What the fuck is going on? You're a bunch of fucking bitches! Fuck you! No, not me. It's not me. Oh shit! Let me back.
So these cops are leaving. Who's talking? I don't know. Somebody's videoing. See, the thing about this is the right-wingers are trying to antagonize, okay? Like what you see is, look at it, he's like screaming in capitals, oh, the cops have abandoned the area, taken over by anarchists, an insurrection act. Like the right-wingers, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. George Orwell, yes, indeed, I love that quote. But so the right-wing media, and obviously they're trying to stir this like they want. I mean, right-wingers are, I guess, hell-bent on us getting arrested or getting punished severely. Because why? Because we put Donald Trump in jail for you know, committing crimes. And they're upset about that. So they frantically want us in jail. They want to see, I mean, they literally, these guys like Nick Sortor, if somebody dragged me out of my house right now and put a gun to my head and did to me what they did to Renee Good, Nick Sortor would love that. Okay? He would love that. He absolutely would. I mean, they are, right? They are very clearly like just trying to create stuff, right? Saying rioters breaking into businesses. I mean, dude, you know, I mean, shit happens, guys. You know what I'm saying? Right? But clearly she's not a terrorist. She was talking to the person. Right? But I mean, look at these guys. They're like making fun of it. You live, you leer, right? They think it's all a big joke. They love it when we die. And I mean, it's weird though, because I understand that they're mad about, you know, like Charlie Kirk getting shot and all that. Like, I get that, but like, I don't know. It's weird because they keep saying like Charlie Kirk had something to do with us on the left, but I can't speak for Tyler Robinson. You know, if he killed him, I can't, you know, we don't know that yet. There's going to be a trial, but let's say he did for the sake of argument, because many of them believe it was Tyler Robinson. He's not a leftist. Okay. He was raised MAGA. He's a Mormon from a rural Mormon area. Now he may have been leaning towards tolerance and had some, like, we don't know what his sexuality was. And so he might be, you know, like, may have been like thinking about becoming more left than the far right MAGA he was raised, but he certainly was not a leftist. Okay. He didn't have any leftist ideology. He was never a part of any leftist organization. He never went to a leftist protest. He never engaged in leftist politics. And I mean, he was barely political as it was. Even in the Discord, it was clear that he was like paid attention to politics more than his gamer buddies. So he knew who Joe Biden was and he knew Donald Trump, and he kind of knew who was winning or who had the higher polls, but he was not actively, espousing any leftism anywhere at any time. So there's nothing about him that was leftist. Now, to answer the question for the person when they say you live, you leer. So this is because of that Somali daycare center that misspelled the word learning, that spelled learning, leering on their sign. And so this is making fun of her and also trying to tie her to the Somalian daycare center, because for them, all of Minneapolis is bad. So anything that causes harm and pain to the people of Minneapolis, conglomerating it all into one message is like the coup de grace for them. It's just hatred of wokeness and hatred of compassion and freedom for LGBTQ people and compassion and caring for immigrants. It is merely like intense hatred and desire for pain and suffering to happen to all people that have pronouns in their bio, And yeah, that's from James Woods. He blocked me too. These guys are all fucking pussies. They are, dude. They're all clowns. But yeah, dude, they've all blocked me. Right? Dude, but again, they're trying to play this shit up. Right? They love this, dude. $2.27. All right, let's see what we got. Is this worth watching?
Well, welcome back, Cedars, to another edition of Live on Patrol, and Pat will be joining us. Pat will be joining us at 9. I do want to start by saying our sincere condolences from Pat and I and the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office to the family of Renee Good, and I've seen a lot of death in my lifetime, but it's no matter how, when, where, losing someone from this earth is a hard thing. And
can I just say, I want to pause here and say that as somebody who has some veterans in my family, and I've known some people that have been around gun violence. I know some people who, a kid was at their house with somebody that lived in their house, and they were fucking around with a gun, and somebody ended up getting shot, a 20-year-old, right? And he died, and they had to clean the blood up off their floor and shit. And just saying that the act of seeing a person get shot and die is about one of the most traumatic, mind-fucking things you can experience. Even, doesn't matter if you're a soldier, if you're a cop, you cannot get used to watching it. It is so violent. And beyond, I mean, we saw it with the Charlie Kirk video, which was wow, it was hard to watch. But I'm talking about when you're there, when you can smell the scene, you see it, you hear the screams, you feel it, it gets in your body. Watching somebody's skin open up or what have you, and the blood gushing out. Okay, when you see it in person, it is unbelievably damaging to the human psyche. And for people who pull the trigger, okay, even if a cop is saving his own life, or a soldier, it's them or me. I have to pull the trigger or I'm going to die. So you know they're justified and you know they literally had to kill that person. They will grapple with that for 50 fucking years. If they don't go to therapy and get EMDR or do some type of intensive work, like a single shooting can haunt someone for their entire fucking life, or witnessing a shooting, it is really impossible to overstate the damage that caused to the human psyche, unless you're a fucking sociopath, man. And this is why police officers end up and soldiers end up so damaged. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I just wanted to add that like, you know, I think really any cops that have done some work know that watching a bullet rip into a body, watching somebody like die like that is like really like vexing. It is really damaging to the human soul to even see it.
And I've seen a lot of death in my lifetime, but it's no matter how, when, where, losing someone from this earth is a hard thing. And I just want to say our condolences to the family. I do want to begin, well, you know me well enough to know that I'm not going to jump into the fray regarding who did what, when, how, only because professionals in law enforcement wait for all the facts to be garnered. That's what we do. I mean, I've investigated thousands of cases, and you get all the facts before you reach a judgment. And here in the Twin Cities, we've been involved in a number of officer-involved use of force and use of the weapon. So the proper thing, especially if you're in the line of authority over investigations, is to not try to steer the investigation or preempt what the ultimate conclusion would be. I mean, there's been many times where we've had to bite our tongue even though we wanted to say something because of the integrity of the process. It really is important that any chiefs, sheriffs that are in the loop just wait for all the information to be garnered. And I've seen a lot of investigations that suddenly turn a different direction as you gain information. So whether it's Governor Walz or President Trump, Mayor Fry or Secretary Noem, the best course of action immediately after is just to let the investigation run its course and have a thorough and transparent investigation. So we all should do that, and every chief and sheriff knows that. I've been at this. For those of you that don't know me, I've been in law enforcement more than 4 decades. And by the way, if you haven't shared this yet, my comments here might be of interest to others. I'm not sure they will, but I hope they will if you can share this. I've been in law enforcement more than 4 decades. I spent 20 years with the St. Paul Police Department and another 23 with the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office as the sheriff. And most of my time at St. Paul, I was conducting investigations. I headed burglary unit, all the juvenile investigations, crimes against property. I worked as an investigator in the sex homicide unit in the 80s. So, I mean, investigations is nothing new to me, and I just want you to know that, you know, I've had cases that, you know, all of a sudden a new piece of information pops up. But in either case, backseaters, this is my message to you. I started this, and you know, the first day I drove out, July 24th, up at Syndicate and Marshall, I wasn't sure how Live on Patrol was going to go. You probably remember that. But I started Live on Patrol because it was 2 months after George Floyd's murder, and people didn't like us. They didn't like us as cops, and that was hard for me. I spent my entire life trying to build relationships with the community, both the black community, the Hmong community, the Somali community, the Hispanic community. I tried to build relationships, and all of a sudden, all that trust and confidence was torn apart. So 2 months after, I decided, well, we need to start building that back. We need to show them who we really are as people, but we also need to be transparent. Oh, I gave the answer away. I was going to ask you what you think Live on Patrol was really about. And it really is about transparency. About, being kind is a big part of what we do, but that's a core value. But the mission is to be transparent so people gain some trust on us. And I hope we've accomplished some of that. I feel like we have. And but backseaters, most of backseater on Facebook, and some of you YouTube followers probably are unfamiliar with sort of the history here, because that started later.
Dude, is he going somewhere with this? I totally appreciate him giving us the spiel about, wanting to be transparent and all that, but is he going somewhere with this that is essential for this whole thing? Dude, again, I'm telling you, if either put the link in Discord, right? Or don't talk about it. And if you keep harping on it, I'm just going to time you out for an hour. You know what I'm saying? Because you've been told 50 fucking times, put the link in the Discord. Discord link is in the description. And if you can't follow those instructions and participate the way we do, then no, I'm not searching for anything. There's a way we do it. You've been told multiple times now. I'm not going to tell you again. All right? This is your last opportunity, right? Put the link in the Discord or shut the fuck up. Right? There you go. My God, dude. It's Jesus. You tell somebody no and they keep insisting. Stop being a grapist. When somebody tells you no, listen to the no. No means no. And they tell you their boundaries and how to do it. Respect them or leave them alone. Dude, what the fuck? Dude, people need to learn how to respect boundaries. It ain't rocket science. You know what I'm saying? Boundaries are real simple. Somebody tells you what their boundaries are, then you respect them. Okay? It's a lesson for all of us. No means no. Right? Dude, come on now.
But, so the transparency is key to building trust. And along the way, we brought civilians into our circle. We got people like Rev Daryl Spence and others that are just doing amazing work out there in the community to build that relationship.
Now, I do want to pause here, okay? Because I have a long history of not liking police officers, and yet I've had some friends that are police officers, okay? And one thing I will say is that there's a number of problems with the institution of policing, okay? There really are. And there are some good people in that institution, but one of the primary problems you have is that there's a closed system where you're not allowed to break the code, okay? Police often have to police themselves, and part of that is just covering for each other. So it makes a person who wants to do the right thing, it makes it potentially dangerous and scary for them to do the right thing. Okay. So, the internal affairs, the brotherhood of cops being killed by other cops, there are a lot of very real threats there. But beyond that, beyond the toxicity of that system, which is fucked up, is the relational system with the community. Because there are many cops out there that do try to build a bridge to have community relations. And it's hard because nobody trusts cops. Like most everybody hates them. And there are a lot of things, a lot of reasons to hate them. A lot of power abusers go into that profession. A lot of people go into that profession and get corrupted and become power abusers. And so it is really, there are many people in leadership like this Sheriff Fletcher guy, or like the friend I had who was a high-ranking lieutenant here in Portland PD, who like actually make really valiant efforts to build some of these bridges with the communities or to try and change the inner workings of these police forces. And it is very, very hard because the foundation of policing is problematic because it started with slave patrol. So, I mean, I think we'd have to like shake it up and build a brand new foundation. But it, you know, there are people in that profession that are trying to repair it. I think they simply just don't know what to do. Like, it is pretty entrenched, some of the negatives of it, because no matter what you do, like, nobody's ever going to like the police, especially not like communities of color or, you know, people that are struggling with drug addiction. Like, there's just not much likable about them because anytime they show up, it's like bad news. But sometimes it's not always bad. Like, for example, with me, I hate cops. And man, the night I got a DUI with an LAPD officer because I didn't have my headlights on, the night I got that DUI, I fucking hated that cop. But now, 30 years later and, you know, coming up on 19 years sober, that cop fucking saved my life in a way. He gave me a hard lesson that was so jarring that it started a 10-year journey that ended up with me getting sober. And I'm not certain if I would have taken that journey if that cop had let me go. Okay? But man, I fucking hated him. And I still fucking hate cops. And yet, him doing that thing that I hated so much and me getting into this heap of fucking trouble may have fucking saved my life. So it is complicated how that profession is. You know what I'm saying? It is complicated, guys, because even when they're doing good, nobody likes them. And mostly, though, they never see any good. Okay? All they see is the negative. They only get called when bad shit is happening. And they have a lot of, you know, and I'm not excusing their behavior, but they struggle with alcoholism and domestic violence. And because of the toxicity of the profession, it draws a certain type of toxic personality usually to it, which makes it doubly worse. But we don't have a system that like helps those officers get appropriate mental health, and you know, they don't get trained well enough, and they don't get retrained consistently enough, and they don't get mental health. They don't have required mental health participation. So the whole thing just breeds toxicity. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I'm not simping for cops. I hate police. I hate them. But I also, as much as I hate them, I can have an understanding about what's going on. I mean, you can't try to fix something if you're not going to be able to look at it honestly and you know, looking at like the mechanisms of it. I mean, there's a reason why really toxic people go into that profession, because it's a profession that encourages and fuels toxicity. And guys, this is like religion, okay? Religion draws criminals and manipulators and abusers to it. Why? Because it gives them a pray and get out of jail free, get absolution through prayer. Like, put a cross on and everyone trusts you, right? So the benefits, the things religion provides are places that sociopaths and abusive people are like, man, I'm going to go become a part of that because it allows me to live in my fucking dysfunction. And policing is like that too, dude. Dude, Henry Rollins wouldn't kick my ass. I've met Henry Rollins, dude. Henry Rollins fucking loved me. Shut up. You don't even know what fucking anything about Henry Rollins, boss. You're talking out your ass. All right? You're on a fucking shortwave to getting booted because you're an ignorant fucking person is what you are. Right? That's what you are. Dude, let's go. Dude, you're fucking ignorant. I'm getting rid of your dumb ass, dude. Henry Rollins. You don't fucking know Henry Rollins. You've never fucking met Henry Rollins. Sit down. Sit down, fucking schlempy. Dude, please. Dude, Henry Rollins was cool, man. He was, dude. He was like, I don't know, dude. He was pretty cool. I have not checked in with him in ages, right? That was a weird thing to say. No, that's like, you know what it is, guys? I'll tell you what it is like people that don't understand punk, like make comments because my name is Political Punk, right? And so there's a bunch of people that were obviously never part of any real connection to the punk movement that think punk was just anarchy, right? Their idea of punk comes from the Sex Pistols, okay? But the Sex Pistols were a boy band, okay? That was a manager named Malcolm McLaren who took some people and crafted this anarchist idea. Like real punk is simply about do it DIY. It is do it yourself. That's what real punk was instead of going through the societal mechanisms of conforming and doing it like society is, you do it yourself. Real punk isn't about playing punk rock. It's about booking your own tour, having house shows if you don't have a venue, finding a coffee shop to have shows, making your flyers with cutout magazines because you can't afford a computer. Okay, punk is DIY. You make your own fashion. You sew, like those punkers, they knew how to sew, guys. They didn't think sewing was feminine. They were sewing patches on their jackets and shit. They were making belts out of safety pins. Okay, it was about DIY. It had nothing to do with the rebellion. I mean, the rebellion was part of it, was like, you know, identifying your own thing, but like punks didn't all look alike. Okay, the punks and the goths and the gay kids, they like formed a fusion where you could be gender fluid, you could be outside, anything outside the conformist, short-haired jock portion of society, and there would be a space for you. But you didn't have to be a rebel. You didn't have to believe in anarchy. You could fucking believe in whatever the fuck you wanted. The whole point was you didn't like participate in a system of corporate doing. You did it yourself, okay? You did it yourself. And yeah, they were famously accepting. And they were aligned with like hardcore and with emo and with goth. They were aligned with basically every scene that was looked at as like unacceptable or inappropriate. Had room in the punk world, okay? You could be anything. You could dress like a lumberjack. And fucking, if you were a DIY guy that was down with fucking everybody, you could be part of the scene, okay? But people like get this, oh, you're punk, oh, establishment, oh, you believe that and the other. But they don't even understand what punk really was. It wasn't that phony Sex Pistols fucking, you know, boy band shit. You know, I mean, dude, I fucking booked shows with these guys, with guys that like rented storage units. And everybody met at someone's house and they piled people into trucks and drove them over to the storage unit to fucking play music. That was punk. It has nothing to do necessarily with the style of music. There was a, you know, very sped up sort of reckless punk rock, but that wasn't the punk ethos. That was just a part of it, you know? And like people, they don't understand. So sometimes people see the political punk thing and they're like, you're not punk because of X, Y, and Z, but like they don't realize that I am like one of the more punk individuals they're ever gonna know, because I've been DIYing it since the days of like booking tours by calling 411 and asking for record stores in cities, calling those record stores and talking to every employee there to find out the names of clubs that I could then send tapes to and get an address for, and then mail tapes out to like book shows. That is punk, okay? Creatively, how do I book a show in a town I've never been when there's no internet? Oh, who might know about the shows? Record store employees might know venues. 411, is there a Sam Goody? Is there a tower? Is there a fucking music land? That's punk rock. Figuring it out, you know, doing it yourself, making that shit happen, you know, and then returning the favor. You go out on tour. When those bands come on tour, you let them sleep at your house. You feed them. You fucking wake up the next morning. You make them all breakfast. You give them fucking clean socks and shit if their socks are all worn out, right? It's like taking care of each other and fucking supporting other people who do it themselves, who don't just complain about nothing getting done, but they actually fucking make it happen. Okay, so that, my friends, is what that, like, whatever that whiner was about. Like some fake idea of what the word punk means. Dude, let's go. Dude, I love the Sex Pistols music, but those guys weren't really punkers. You know what I mean? That was like, you know, I don't know. A lot of people like feed into the Sex Pistols, dude. Great music, like outrageous personalities and shit. But those guys weren't like punkers. They were a created boy band that was like created and sold as a particular fucking, you know, they were sold to punk rock people as like a brand of rebellion, you know, but they weren't actual punk rock guys. Okay. Like they weren't guys that lived punk rock. They were corporate, really. They were corporate fucking minded guys that were outrageous and wild, you know, but they also have their music defined a generation of punk. But I like their music. Pretty Vacant, I feel like, is one of the great songs of all time. But it's amazing how many Americans think of, right? How many Americans think the Sex Pistols are some example of like what punk is, you know? Dude, the Ramones those guys were way more punk, okay? The Ramones, dude, those guys were awesome, dude. The Ramones, I love the Ramones. I love, like, you know, when I played at CBGB, going down to the bathroom and you see they still have like signatures and poetry and drawings and shit by those guys still on the bathroom walls 50 years later, dude, like peeing in the bathroom and being able to read something that Joey Ramone wrote on the wall fucking 50 years before is pretty wild, dude. 40 years before, right? That shit, 30 years before, that shit was crazy, right? You know, right? But dude, right, that's my fucking whatever. You know, I mean, because, you know, when you look at it, you look at the Ramones, you look at GBH, you look at the Vandals, you look at the Rollins Band, you look at you know, Joe Strummer, right? Or even you look at somebody like, you know, Gun Club, right? You know, Jeffrey Lee Pierce of the Gun Club, or the singer of the Violent Femmes. What's his name, dude? Fucking the Violent Femmes guy. Why am I forgetting his fuck? I think it was Gordon. You may have to refresh. We cut out for a minute. It was Gordon Gano. Yeah, Gordon, right? And then Jello Biafra is another one. Dude, yeah, lot of there's just a wide variety, right? Wide variety, guys. So punk, it broke the stream. Let's go. All right, let's listen to this guy. Good rant. That was a good rant. I'm going to make a video out of that. Dude, Circle Jerks, MC5. Dude, Bad Brains. I mean, come on. Bad Brains, Fishbone. Fishbone were punk, okay? They weren't, you know, they weren't punk necessarily, but Fishbone, Stooges. Dude, a lot of shit. Gwar. I saw Gwar. Dude, I saw Gwar and dude, what was the other band that I saw that was really crazy? It was like TV something. Dude, I mean, what was that band? Hold on. Oh, Psychic TV, bro. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, do you guys know who Psychic TV were? Oh, shit, bro. This was one of the craziest fucking shows, dude. In the 90s? Oh, my God. A lot of people don't know these guys. Oh, fuck, dude. Those guys were crazy. Dude, I took some acid once and went to a fucking psychic TV show. They used to, like, I don't know, the people dressed up as like nurses and shit. And it's hard to describe. Their shows were like war, but without the blood. Everybody who went to them dressed up in really outrageous and very fucking crazy, like, costumes with, like, their boobs hanging out and shit like that. And dude, it was like amazing, just mind-bending how crazy their shows were, dude. That, like, my friend Dane, I had this friend whose dad was like a radio DJ. I like got Jane's Addiction's second album like 6 months before it came out through Dane. And Dane turned me on to Psychic TV. And, like, man, dude, their shows were fucking, that was some wild shit, boss. Oh my God, dude. Let me see if we have images of them live, right? I mean, they were fucking crazy. Just a wild, wild experience, dude. They always had a video screen. Dude, it was some crazy shit, boss. Oh, man. Dude, that, like, I hadn't thought about them in a while, bro. Lord have mercy, boss. Just really fucking crazy shit. Yeah, good shit. All right. Back on it, though. All right, we're going to listen to the sheriff here. The rest of his stuff, dude. All right, here we go.
In fact, community policing started in the 80s, back when I was on the street back then, and that was when the tide turned for law enforcement. Go out and build relationships. And we did that until, 2020, when it was ripped from our hands and we had to, build it back. So, in the interest of transparency, we have to always look to figure out, how do we earn the public's trust? Because ultimately, all of us, state, local, federal, we work for you. We work for the public. And you have a right to hold us accountable, and you have a right to see what we're doing and why we're doing. We might not always agree, but you have the right to know what we're doing. And that's one of the reasons I don't like encryption. This week St. Paul started their encryption. You won't be able to hear their radios on our Live on Patrol. Pat and I have earbuds now that we're going to use so we can hear St. Paul, and we'll head there. We certainly have the CAD, but we're not going to rebroadcast stuff. And that hurts the transparency. And in terms of, how much crime is there? How long does it take you to get there? How are the officers handling the calls? So at least in Minneapolis, they have a bulletin board where they post them a half hour later. But so every time that we don't let people know what we're doing, we harm our transparency, but we harm the trust that we want and need from the community. So in that spirit, and as I mentioned earlier, every chief and sheriff knows you don't pass judgment until you have all the facts. And it's the same goes for any, like I said, governor, president, secretary, mayor. Let's get the facts. We don't need to be but the problem is when one person spouts off their opinion, the other feels obligated. I get all the politics of that yet. And actually, you know, Mayor Fry's not in the line of succession in terms of who would do the investigation. Obviously, Secretary Noem is, because ultimately they supervise the FBI. But, you know, the governor is, because he supervises the public safety department. So we just need to take 10 steps back and make sure we have a thorough investigation. On that front, I am in favor of the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension conducting the investigation. I have been since the beginning. I have had regular contact with Drew Evans, the superintendent of the BCA. And let me just say, Drew Evans is one of the most credible law enforcement officials in the state of Minnesota. He's experienced, he's knowledgeable, and he has a ton of integrity.
See, here's the problem. And I see why he's recommending the BCA, because you ready for this, guys? And I don't think this is really, I think it's pretty common knowledge what I'm about to say, but I think everybody in law enforcement, even the cops, all across America, nobody may say this, but they all know that 𝗙ście𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗀 is not a legitimate leader for the FBI. Like, nobody really trusts 𝗙ście𝗶𝗶𝗆's FBI, because all law enforcement officers know that that guy is just a podcaster. That guy is just a fucking, he's not a law enforcement professional. He's not somebody who even follows the protocol. You know, like live tweeting, we got him, oh no, wrong guy. I mean, cops, say what you want about how shitty they are. They do have a fucking code that they sort of respect when conducting an investigation, especially detectives. And like, dude, 𝗙ście𝗶𝗆 is like completely unfit. Everybody knows he's not trustworthy. He's a liar. He fucking cuts corners. He has no investigative abilities. He has no long-term background. Like, normally guys that become the head of the FBI, they have like 40 years of law enforcement experience in some way, shape, or form, right? Cash has had a little bit of lawyering experience and a lot of sucking Trump's knob experience. And they all know he's completely untrustworthy and just like not at all capable of running a large scale like investigation. Like, anybody that 𝗙ście𝗶𝗆 investigates, even if they catch him, they're going to get off. You know what I'm saying? I bet you 90%, if 𝗙ście𝗶𝗆 conducts an investigation, arrests a perp, and collects the evidence, 90% of those people will end up going free, because he doesn't know how to build an actual case that will survive like a trial. Dude, I guarantee it. And they all know it. And they may not say it because they don't want to lose their job or they don't want to get ostracized, but believe me, the fucking cops know. Okay, they know it.
All of us throughout this state, sheriffs, 87 sheriffs, 300 police departments, we have confidence in Drew Evans. And Drew's team has been conducting force-involved investigations when officers shoot people for the last 6 years. And they've done an admirable job. So we should have confidence in Drew. Now, in the beginning, you know, the FBI was going to do a joint investigation with them. And then that changed. I know why that changed, but I'm not going to say here. But the
no,
truth
he's
of the
not
matter
going to say. Cover
the
up.
BCA is experienced and they know what they're doing. Now, some of you, I've read comments other places. Some of you are saying, well, why can't the FBI do it? The FBI can do the investigation. It's not a matter of whether they can conduct the investigation. They can do the investigation. The difference between the FBI and the BCA doing an investigation under Minnesota law, at the conclusion of an investigation or a charge or a decision to not charge, all those documents in that file become public. And that's where the transparency is. You will see any statements by witnesses, any statements by the suspects or the people that were involved. Under Minnesota law, the file is transparent. Under federal law, not the case. The FBI has the choice, and typically we don't see those files for years.
Interesting, dude. Ridge says, I was in the military for a bit. We swear an oath to join and defend against foreign and domestic threats. Yes, against threats, foreign and domestic, baby. This is not a domestic threat. I don't know what is. Dude, no, I hear that, Ridge. Thank you, boss. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's true. It is fucking truer than true, bro.
And so that's the difference. It isn't that one agency can or cannot do it. It's in Minnesota, we have a law that requires transparency at the conclusion of the investigation.
Yeah, I think there's an important thing there, guys, because he said how the FBI is not sharing the investigation. And so there's a really important point there. If the BCA investigates, all that shit's transparent, so the FBI can do whatever they want at the end of that investigation as well, but it won't go the reverse. If the FBI investigates and then they bury that shit for years, there can't even be a local investigation. You know, there can't be a local investigation at all until they get that information from the FBI. And I think, you know, the unspoken thing here is he's obviously concerned that the municipality's not going to get an investigation. By the way, I have 5 minutes and then I'm dancing. All right, I'm hoping to get a rub trade in with Jenny before I fucking start editing. So we got 5 minutes. He better get to this, whatever we got, quick.
Transparency at the conclusion of the investigation. And that's what the public needs. That's how we build trust. And so you've heard several statements today, but the U.S. Attorney's Office is different than the Minnesota Attorney General. The U.S. Attorney, a federally appointed person, has decided not to do a joint investigation because in the federal system, the U.S. Attorney's Office really runs the investigation. It's been that way for many years. I've been around since '77. Things have changed.
Dude, that's crazy. Doctor Who's Sherry said, did you see DoorDash driver being chased by ICE and ran into her customer's house? Amazing video of the homeowner. I have seen the video. I have not watched it, but I'm aware that video exists, and we will probably look at it tomorrow or something. But yeah, I know the video exists, but I haven't watched it yet.
Actually, even Tom Heffelfinger, the former U.S. attorney, was on radio yesterday, and he said he was disappointed that they didn't work with the BCA as well. So things used to be different, but if it's just the FBI, the odds of getting the file, a transparent file, after someone makes a decision, and let's just be honest, a death in Minnesota is under the jurisdiction of Minnesota law enforcement and county attorneys. I know there's been terms thrown around about absolute immunity. Absolute immunity does not exist.
Absolutely,
immunity
it does not exist.
Precedent and preemption does exist. But those decisions about who's going to have primary authority in the judicial system are made by a judge. And they're not made on the front end like this before the thing's investigated. They're made by a judge, usually a federal judge, after the investigation is completed and at the point that the county attorney in that jurisdiction is deciding whether they want to charge or not. So it's not the time for the discussion of immunity. And while immunity does exist, it doesn't exist if you violate your own policies or violate law.
There you go.
You know,
or if you violate somebody's civil rights, right? But dude, JD Vance and that absolute immunity is like, dude, they're gaslighting us so fucking hard. These guys, these fascist motherfuckers are gaslighting us so hard.
In the course of your duties, you make a minor mistake, so be it. But in the course of your duties, if you violate a law and a policy of your department, you lose that immunity protection. But that's an argument for later. Defense attorneys, prosecutors, etc. Right now, we're not there. Right now, we're just deciding who's going to conduct the investigation. And again, the reason we need the BCA involved is so at the end of the investigation, whichever way the prosecutors determine, we have transparency of the process.
See, I like, for me, guys, I know we went over that video with the fine-tooth comb from both camera angles. A couple days ago, we made a video. Now, tonight, I'm going to make a video about the other one. There are a couple of things to me that really stuck out. The first one was him circling the car while filming. So he's preoccupied with the action of filming while circling the car, which established from the very beginning that he didn't consider that car to be a threat, because from the beginning, he walked all sides while doing a task, completely unworried. Then, of course, the minute the wife insults him and says, you want to like fuck with us or whatever, he switched hands to create a pistol-free hand before that car even moved. That is very, very damning. And then the state of mind immediately following the shooting was not about what happened to him, was not about the safety of the person or the people out there or him having vanquished a danger. It was, you fucking bitch. It was a retribution like scream aimed at the person for having offended him. Okay, so and you know, though, and then the fourth thing was after he switched hands with the phone and he was ready to draw his gun, when the car started moving, he moved closer to the vehicle. So there were several fucking like key points there that were very damning for you know, that guy. So it would, I feel like it would be a fairly easy case to convince a jury, okay? To convince a jury that this guy had more than his safety in mind, that somewhere in his head was a desire to dominate and control this subject. And he was in fact not worried about his own safety. He had an agenda of trying to extract behavior from that person, and it was what he perceived as willful disobedience of the person that caused him to execute his act. But he was in fact trying to control her, and her refusal to be controlled is what set him off. I could easily convince a jury of that. I'm not even a lawyer. I could just sit down and have a conversation with them, and I'm sure I could make a jury see that. You know, it's pretty. It feels winnable, you know, very winnable.
I hope everybody's understanding this, because this is the most important part right now where we're at today. And I just want to say that every city has its own processes. I talked to our county attorney here. If this same incident occurs in our 6 cities, our sheriff's department is going to seize the scene, take control of the scene, recover evidence, and be the primary investigative agency on any death in the 7 cities that we are the primary. Now, we have several cities in Ramsey County. The other jurisdictions will have to decide. But for our 6 cities, we will be the primary, and we will invite and ask the BCA to assist us in that investigation of a death, should this same thing occur. And by the way, the BCA assists agencies all over the state on a regular basis. So, and they have over 500 employees. They, you know, they're great. They're great. So, we're going to move on tonight, but I have no idea where the future is going with this one. I will tell you that investigations like this are complicated.
Always.
And in Minnesota, we attempt not only just see the videos that are available, we attempt to determine what was in the mind of the person pulling the trigger and what was in the mind of the person that was the victim. That's the key part. And the BCA looks at what happened in the hour before this incident and what happened immediately after. There's a lot of investigative steps that are important to take care of and consider. And when it comes to a law enforcement officer exercising the use of deadly force, digging into that person's mindset at the time and digging into the person that was shot, their mindset at the time, very, very important. Not to mention 12 different angles of videos that show what happened. So I hope this was helpful, understanding why there's so much controversy about who should conduct the investigation. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go pick up Pat soon. We're not going.
All right, we're gonna end there because it's dance party time. But you know, I mean, that was pretty interesting. We can sum up the you know, obviously there are just a couple fucking, you know, like I said, there was definitely some damning things about the situation that existed. I mean, I think for me, one of the things that, you know, it was pretty obvious that the guy was like comfortable there in close proximity to the car and the people there. And he never, you know, seemed to like position himself, right? Like, for example, if I feel like this car is a threat to me, that the driver of that car could be a danger, I'm not going to ever stand in front of the car, right? Because obviously, if I think that car's a danger and this driver might run me over, I'm going to be like 6 feet away from that car, right? That's a state of mind. If I'm standing right next to the car, right in front of it, I'm only doing that if I know that this person's not a threat, right? Obviously. But the other thing I was thinking is he never dropped his phone. He had the wherewithal to, like, as he got close to the vehicle, put his hand on the hood so the phone is showing him, and he, like, never lost his footing. He'd never dropped his phone. He never stopped recording, right? He fired 3 shots, one in the, like, as the car was in front of him, and then turned to follow the car, 2 in the open window, so he knew where her head was. He was, like, tracking her position in order to fire those kill shots. And he had the wherewithal to do that, never even lost his footing, okay? He didn't even drop the phone. Like, for example, if you know, if my son's standing on an icy road holding a phone and I go up and bump into him and it's not enough to knock that phone out of his hand, then he certainly does not have his life in danger, okay? Something that's going to endanger his life is going to have enough force to at least knock the phone out of his hand. And we saw how an officer that ran up slipped in the road. And so clearly the roads were slippery. And because an agent who ran up fell on his ass, but the 2 guys next to the car didn't fall on their ass. So they were not jostled very hard or very fast. They didn't even lose their footing. They didn't drop their phone. They didn't, you know, I mean, it's pretty telling that he was never in truly in harm's way or in any kind of jeopardy. You know what I mean? It'd be a different story if she had knocked him on his ass and those tires were coming toward his chest and it looked like she was going to drive over him. He's flat on the ground. If he popped up then and fired off several shots, like, even though that would be breaking protocol because you're never supposed to fire at a moving car, that would at least, it would read well to me, because him being on his back and seeing a car bowling toward him to jump up and fire shots, that I would understand. Still breaking protocol, but I would relate to that. You think that thing, it knocked you on your ass and is about to drive straight over you. Okay, so yes, that reaction I could see, but there was nothing remotely like that. Okay, and yeah, but we'll see what happens. Okay, we will see what happens. I just know that we have had multiple instances, guys. You ready? I want to show you one more image Okay, and it is this guy. You ready? I'm going to look up ICE Gun Chicago. Remember this guy? Okay, not that guy, but so there was this guy who pulled a gun, but there was this other ICE agent. This guy pulls a gun and points at people. Okay, but there was the other guy who went up, was this guy right here. Remember this guy? Remember that dude? This guy, homie, who walked up with the gun and pointed it at the window. And then in LA, somebody did this with a gun and they actually used the gun to break the window and they shot that TikToker accidentally. But like, so there have been multiple instances of these guys. This is like way crazy. Okay. There is never a time that Border Patrol should be doing this. If the other person doesn't have a gun, these guys should not have their guns out. They are not arresting violent criminals, okay? They are not arresting violent criminals at all, guys, okay? They're not. Their job is to simply corral people, you know, and this is some fucked up shit. And somebody asked why they're overweight. I mean, a lot of these guys are Proud Boys. A lot of these guys are basically white gangbangers. They're white nationalist gangbangers, and they are loving having the power and being able to legally smash windows and put on their tactical gear and fucking harass and terrorize people. Okay? You know what I'm saying? That's what they are, dude. That's what they are. Jenny, we're rub trading, baby. So Jesse Ventura had some thoughts. Let's see what he says here, dude.
Message for Trump and or message for Governor Walz?
Who was that? You mean the draft dodging coward? I don't call him by name. He's the draft dodging coward who, when it was his time to serve his country, he did what all rich white boys did. I wasn't a rich white boy. I grew up in South Minneapolis. Most of me and all my friends are Vietnam veterans. We had to go. But the rich white boys never had to go, did they?
Yeah, they never. The rich guys
and he
never
didn't
went.
have to go, did he? And yet he's going to tell me what courage is?
Message for...
Yeah! Well, let's just say he's not talking about Tim Walz right there. Dude, Tiana! Let's go! Oh! Whoops, wrong button. Let's go. Fortunate son, dude. Dude, does he keep going? No, this one cut off right there. All right, that one cut off. We'll get more of him later. All right, I got to go dance. Dude, let's go. Dude, I got to go. We got to go dance. I got to go edit. I got to go spend a little time with my lady. All right, 7-minute video of that. We can watch that tomorrow. Somebody get the link of the 7-minute video. We'll watch the whole thing tomorrow. We'll revel in it. I have plenty on my plate for tonight. Guys, it was great hanging out with you and great like going through this with each other. You know what I'm saying? Because we, you know, it's a lot, guys. Okay? This is a lot. We're going to be going through a lot, and we are kind of just almost getting started. Okay? We are. I hate to say it, but like, dude, we got a long way to go, dude. Dude, let me just tell you, as somebody who's followed Trump, because I've always been a fashion and sort of society like follower, keeping tabs on this stuff. Ella, thank you, Tommy, for the stream. Thank you for being a voice. I always look forward to watching your stream and hanging out with everyone. That 7-minute vid is in your Discord, by the way. FTT, LFG, let's go. Thank you, Ella. So I want to say that as somebody who has watched Donald Trump for decades, okay, because he was always on the outskirts of the fashion world which was always important to me. Let me just tell you, like, dude, Trump, he loves to just cause so much chaos. Like, he is such a chaotic, miserable, narcissistic, fucking degenerate human being that he will just push everyone to their limits, always. And so he is going to keep escalating and getting more and more like outrageous, trying to like capture the headlines. You know, he thrives on it. Like he is, it's not going to get any simpler, guys. It's just going to get more outrageous. Okay. Just for the record. So I know, like, I mean, you have a right to be pissed and you're going to go through the full range of emotions, but we do have to understand that as chaotic as this year has been, it's going to get much, much more chaotic. Like, we really have to keep centered and keep our wits about us, guys. Your personal ritual of remaining centered and remaining hopeful, you got to remain centered, hopeful, and ready to respond and not react. Okay, so you really have to do the work of like getting the trauma out of your body and getting some type of self-care regimen that allows you to stay centered and grounded, because the shit is going to be hitting the fan at a rate and severity that we've never seen before. Okay, so just like train. You gotta train mentally to fucking survive this shit. You know what I mean? Right? That's just all I can say. All right? It's not getting any easier. What do we, and I want to address something here before. First off, WTF, keep it coming. We thrive on it too. Let's go, boss. Thank you. Thank you, WTF. Let's go, baby. But I have to address this thing that Kenny said. Okay, Kenny said 50-50. And Kenny, you're incorrect, boss. Okay, you are incorrect, because when you said she bumped into him, causing him to defend himself, shooting at a moving vehicle is illegal, okay? He's not allowed to shoot at a moving vehicle. It doesn't matter. Like, his specific DHS rules and the rules of engagement for ICE say you cannot, under any circumstances, shoot at a moving vehicle, and you're not supposed to shoot at all unless there is literally no option to remove and save yourself. If there is absolutely, you can't move, you can't jump out of the way, there's like no other option but to shoot, you can shoot. And he was certainly not in that situation. So he like did not defend himself. He in fact broke their own like guidelines and regulations by firing at a time that not only did he move into the position, which he approached the car, and he moved into the position even if he was hit. I don't think he was hit. I think the hit was him slamming his hand on the hood and then getting really frustrated that she didn't stop. But even if she did hit him, he was never in an imminent danger where he couldn't have jumped out of the way. He had absolutely plenty of time when she was backing up to jump out of the way of that car, and he chose to move in toward the car. And so he had no recourse. That was not defense, that was aggression. Okay? And no, it is not 50-50 shared fault. Kenny, fuck off. Get out of my chat. Bye-bye. Yeah, no, you're arguing bullshit. So you're gone. You go argue that bullshit somewhere else. Like, fuck off. All right, let's go. Dude, we're not even listening to that shit. You're gone. Get out of here. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Dude, it's so funny, bro. These guys... 50-50 my ass, dude. Stick a 50-50 right up your bazunga. All right, let's go. Dude, I'm not arguing with these fools, bro. I'm just unloading. Okay? Dude, let's go, dude. Dude, let's go. Kenny wants chaos. Dude, Kenny's got nothing, boss. Enjoy your 5 seconds of fame, buddy. All right, you ready? Let's go, baby. Here we go. Stretch. Oh. 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 You ready to dance? Let's go. You ready? Oh! Oh! Let's go! Let's get it! Oh! Oh! Here we go! I'm gonna go make some videos. Thank you again for a great night. Take care of yourselves. Be good. Keep that mental health together. So we need each other, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Big love. Thank you for all the support. And We got this. We got this, baby. We got this. Resist. Good night.